Aliens may walk among us, but we already knew that because Bench is joining us for a Slice of Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Moonlight150, for the week of July 28th, 2023. We just got the big drop of Final Fantasy XIV, new DLC, coming to Xbox, and a bunch of other smaller titles for that. So let's join us for our comrades, our fellow warriors of light for this podcast. Dual-wielding two skyward swords, it's Wolf.
Don't reference that. I don't want to talk about it.
Skyward Sword enjoyer.
I hate that game. Why did I have 2 copies of it? I don't get it.
Filling out his application to be a warrior of light thanks to Papa Phil, it's Dark.
Hey, how's it going?
Taking a shower in his pajamas, it's Bench.
Hello.
And back from the ashes and rising again from last week, it's Fusion.
I'm healthy but tired this time.
And I think we just need to run through our standard fare. Remember to like us and comment and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Audible. And I don't think we have anything else we need to catch everyone else up on, so we are just going to hand it right over to Wolf for the news.
Yeah, we got a decent news week ahead of us. I have to talk about this, though. This is something that Bench really wants to talk about. Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail announced. Full disclosure, I don't know much of anything about FF14.
Who does, though?
Who does? You get 5 minutes, okay? This comes from Rebecca Valentine over at IGN. Dawn Trail officially announced as Final Fantasy XIV's 5th major expansion. Dawn Trail will be FF14's 5th major expansion. Square Enix announced today. The new expansion was unveiled during the Final Fantasy XIV FanFest keynote with a trailer featuring a summer vacation theme and multiple new jobs, all coming summer of 2024. And then Dawn Trail's story is intended to be the very best summer vacation a hero could possibly have, in a sudden change from the ending of Endwalker, and marks the first step into a new story for the game. It takes place in the New World, officially known as Tural, which lies over the ocean to the far west of Eorzea. There, the Warriors of Light will assist in a rite of succession to determine Tural's next ruler. The rite involves a contest that eventually takes them to the gates of a fabled city of gold. Of course, the Scions will be involved in this, but Yoshi P warns that the contest may divide the Scions into 2 factions. So there's a lot there. We got a lot more details and stuff, but Bench, I'm just gonna let you do your thing.
I am a longtime Final Fantasy XIV fan, and having played up until this point, new expansion is very nice. I think summer 2024 was pretty expected just because the rest of Square Enix's loadout, and I mean, it's got pretty much everything you want from a Final Fantasy XIV expansion. All the new 8-man, 24-person raids, finally reaching level 100, 2 new jobs, one of which is a melee and one of which is a magical DPS, which is great. And it's taking place in Tural in the New World, a place that's been long rumored over the course of all of Final Fantasy XIV. After the last expansion story was very heavy and pretty much tied the knot on everything Final Fantasy XIV set up before it. So this is pretty much a new thing, completely new. We don't know anything about where we're going or what the story is going to do because we don't really know any of the major threats like we have the last couple expansion, which is going to be pretty fun. I don't know how I feel about the dividing the Scions because I really like them, so I hope they are it's more of like a friendly competition than anything else, but I'm very excited, and the fact that we have a new graphics overhaul this update as well, which they showcased a lot of different things. Their main focus, I think they said, was not on making it look ultra realistic, but complementing what the game already has and making like vegetation better, like metals look better, more things being in an environment, and just smoothing out things that needed smoothing out. So the dense jungles should look pretty good in this expansion. And then they announced it for Xbox, which I know Dark wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the this comes from over at Xbox Wire. Final Fantasy XIV Online is coming to Xbox Series X/S in spring 2024. After much anticipation, it's finally confirmed. Critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV Online is officially coming to Xbox Series X/S. First announced at the FF14 FanFest 2023 in Las Vegas by FF14 producer and director Naoki Yoshida and CEO of Microsoft Gaming Phil Spencer. Dark, very excited about this one. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I honestly was not expecting this news to come out like anytime soon. But this is something that a lot of Xbox fans have been waiting for, and Phil Spencer promised who knows how long ago that before he left, he guaranteed that Final Fantasy 14 was gonna come to Xbox, and sure enough, it did. But that wasn't even like the biggest like takeaway point from this. He basically leading into like the next point, Phil started a new relationship with Square Enix that was announced today, which is really interesting. You wanna go over that real quick?
I mean, like you just said it right there. Like he just very much stated that they want to start a full relationship with Square Enix, more so
No, it's not.
bring more Final Fantasy games to Xbox, if I'm correct. Right?
It's not even that they want to. It's literally what's happening, and I think as you guys may or may not know, Square Enix did recently get a new CEO, and it looks like Phil Spencer seen this as an opportunity to start a new relationship and jumped right on top of it. I'm not sure the details of this deal whatsoever, if how much they paid or whatever, but it looks like future Square Enix titles won't be getting skipped on Xbox for the most part. If there's a deal already made, you probably won't see that. But I know with Final Fantasy 16, Square Enix made a situation where they made Xbox and Sony bet for it. There's a possibility now we won't be seeing things like that. You might just be getting dual releases, which is better for everyone in my opinion. And hopefully they stop with time exclusivity as well. Make it day and date with PC as well. That'd be amazing. And I think honestly this is a really good step in the right direction. I'm very skeptical of the new CEO, given like the first comments we heard about him was that he likes NFTs. But if this is his first move, it's a new direction that I like that they're taking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. Just more games to more places is always a big W. I did want to also throw out these additional details. A lot of these we already went over, but this comes from Direct Feed Games over on Twitter. I'm not calling it X; it's Twitter. Additional details coming to Xbox Series X/S, faster loading, 4K support on Series X, releases spring 2024, open beta scheduled for patch 6.5, and Dawntrail will also release on Xbox Series. Bench, translate for me. Anything big there?
I mean, let me pull up what you have, but I think it was just pretty much what you're getting on PS5. You're going to get on Series X, and it releases in open beta later this year, most likely. Full release spring 2024. But there's a couple more things about Dawntrail that I wanted to highlight. That coming, not even in like the expansion launch on like 6.5, which should be in a couple months. The free trial for Final Fantasy XIV will extend to all the way to the very end of Stormblood, which is the second expansion. So you can pretty much play the entire game absolutely free for like 2 expansions, which is hundreds and hundreds of hours of content. And then right after that, what?
So Dawntrail. Which one's Endwalker? That's the one I heard.
Endwalker's the last one.
Endwalker. Oh, that was the space one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Please go ahead. I was just remembering what I thought.
It goes, yeah. So you're getting starting in a couple months the entire pretty much 2 expansions of the game free. Like not even a sub, or you don't even have to like buy the game and then the sub is free. You literally download it off like the PlayStation Store, soon Xbox Store, or PC. Then you just play the game as much as you want. And there's like pretty much, besides a couple multiplayer things, there's not a whole lot of limitations for experiencing the game. So I just think that's a really cool thing to see, because they just know once you get the taste of all that content, they're going to get you in no matter what, because the game is just that good. It's easily one of the best games of all time, and it seems like another great expansion. Although I do have some reservations about it, but I think it'll be great. And they're just more personal reservations.
Go for them.
Just because we got off the high of Endwalker, it pretty much universe level threats, world ending threats, and obviously everyone expected going into this being not more of a low key thing, but it's like setting up towards something greater, because the full arc is ending and now we're like starting completely fresh. And I just don't know. I have confidence in that team, but I just hopefully they handle it right. And also, like for Endwalker, you're going in and you know what you're getting. That gets you hyped. But now you're just getting hyped because there is a new expansion with some cool stuff. So I know it'll live up to it, but there's still like the kind of, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But also, we'll get more information at the next Fan Fest in October in London. And then there's another one early next year in Japan. And pretty much we'll get new information like added on both of those. They'll probably reveal one class next one at the other one. And then what they do at FanFest is we got like a 2.5-minute trailer, and they'll pretty much double that at the next FanFest and just add to the trailer's cut for a lot of information they put out of it that they reveal at each fan fest. So the next 2 fan fests, and then after that, we'll see the full cinematic trailer with everything in it because they're hiding a lot of stuff still. So we still got a lot more to reveal. So we'll definitely check back on this as time goes on. And when I play it, we'll definitely talk about it.
Oh, don't worry. We'll definitely talk about it. I'll give you 20 minutes that time. Fusion, Moon, you both have been really quiet. Do you guys think this does anything for you, or are you still just not in the feeling
I was gonna say, Bench, as someone who has, I do not care about this game at all. In like a 2-minute spiel, sell me on this game. Why should Xbox fans be excited? Why should I be excited for Final Fantasy 14?
It's one of the best. Well, I'd say it's the only MMO I've played, but it's my favorite. Like one of probably top 3 games of all time. It's got, for an MMO, I mean, not even for an MMO, for like a game, it's got one of the best stories out there, one of the best casts out there. And then you pretty much have endless content. And like I said, you can pretty much play over half of the game completely free. So, I mean, there's not much to sell on. I mean, check it out because it's just that good. But there's definitely maybe a slog at first. But I mean, I put like 600 hours into it, and it's always a blast to go back to. It's definitely a commitment, though, which is kind of the hard sell and what makes the free trial so enticing to so many people.
Bench, did you just say? Wait, real quick, I just wanted to point out. You said it's the only MMO you've played, but it's your favorite.
Yeah, it is correct. Well, okay, I played some of WoW, but at that time, I
No,
also
just that
didn't.
statement is so funny to
It's
me.
his favorite among the competition of one game.
It's
Okay,
like,
let me correct
I
that.
only have
played
one
He's
some
not
child,
of
but
WoW.
it's my favorite one.
Right? He's not wrong
played-
technically. So
I've played some
Yeah,
of
fair.
WoW, but at that point, I never really grasped what an MMO was, so I kind of don't like treat that as playing it. But it's like top 3 favorite games of all time. It's just gets better each expansion. The music is also very good. I didn't really talk about that. Some of the best music in the business, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Real quick, I heard a lot of Final Fantasy fans tell me it is the best story in the series. Is that
It
true?
is.
Okay, I don't believe
I
it,
think
but let's just go with it.
no, because I think the story can be debatable because I like some aspects of 16 more, but as a whole, I think I like 14 more. But also, this is the best cast in the entire series, and one of the best overall casts in the entire like gaming medium.
okay, yeah. So jumping in on that point, I haven't seen all of it, but I played through and experienced most of, if not all of, the Final Fantasy at this point, including parts of 14. 14 is super fucking long, so I didn't see all of it, but I've seen up until Shadowbringers, and I can attest the story in it is pretty fucking phenomenal in terms of what Final Fantasy typically offers.
And what?
So
Yeah.
that statement is not too far-fetched. That's why I make the distinction when talking about Final Fantasy if it's a single-player one or if it's 14.
Yeah, and what I mean, you're getting with this expansion is you're going to the new world, the place that's been teased in like kind of small text boxes, but also like kind of like it's been teased in item descriptions, and this is the first time we're finally seeing it. So this is just very exciting because it's like we've been to 3 continents in like the Eorzea area, and now this is very far west across the ocean, and it's a very underdeveloped area, kind of like a primal kind of civilization thing. So it's definitely a change of pace to like the very high tech kind of stuff we have going on everywhere else in the world, which also means it'll definitely be a change of pace as an expansion as a whole. And that's definitely my biggest worry, but also it could also just be a nice change of pace depending on how they handle it.
I guess that's all our thoughts. Did anyone have any final thoughts on this? Moon, you were gonna speak earlier, but did you have anything?
Not really. The endless content kind of MMOs never appeal to me, especially these days. Maybe back 5 or 6 years ago, I probably would have been more into it. But just from a industry standpoint, this is just fascinating to see happen because this feels like the mountain that Phil Spencer was climbing. Like it started with Phantasy Star Online 2 coming to Xbox in the West, and now that clearly Phil Spencer did that to show like, hey, MMOs have an audience on Xbox, so now let's go after the big boy of Final Fantasy 14. And he did that. And like Dark said, like Phil has been saying, before I retire, I will get Final Fantasy 14 on Xbox, and now he's done that. Does that mean Phil Spencer's retiring soon? Who knows? But it's just cool to see just games like this getting multi-platform and people who want to play this game can. So it's just cool all around, even though I have no personal interest in it.
And I do think
last
the
point
reason
I wanna
that
bring
Phil
up.
was there, you can go.
Oh yeah, this is something quick. One thing I do want to bring up: Xbox as a whole is very multiplayer focused, very multiplayer community based. Things like MMOs really thrive on it. Look at ESO, the fucking community for that's incredible. I'm not sure if any of you guys played through it. I have. 14 is gonna fit right in with this community, and as soon as people like reach that point where they start buying the subscriptions for 14, Square Enix start making a shit ton of money.
It's just a dream partnership. Did we lose Dark?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
But that was it.
We're all
No,
good?
that-
Okay. Sorry about
I
that.
should've
No,
submitted
well, I
it,
did
that
want to
was
say that I don't even think Phil was maybe weird to say, but Phil wasn't there to announce Final Fantasy 14. He was there to announce the partnership, like we've said. That it's just a bigger kind of scope thing. I think when you look at it in the broader picture.
Okay, well, that's actually really exciting to hear. Hopefully, you get more partnerships from Xbox and Square moving forward. Next up, Fusion. I know you really want to talk some more, so this is definitely a Fusion news story. Ubisoft has canceled its Immortals sequel. This comes from Andy Robinson over at VGC. Sources: Ubisoft has canceled its Immortals Fenyx Rising sequel. Update: Ubisoft confirms it's reallocating some creative teams and resources within the Quebec studio. That's according to multiple development sources who told VGC anonymously that a follow-up game was in early development at Ubisoft Quebec. But company leadership ultimately decided to cancel it earlier this month due to perceived challenges around establishing the IP. Now, this news story broke, but then there was later an update around July 26th. Ubisoft has responded to this story and said it's reallocating some creative teams and resources within the Quebec studio. As part of our global strategy, we are redirecting and reallocating some creative teams and resources within the Quebec studio to other unannounced projects. A lot to go over here. I mean, Fusion, you're the Ubisoft guy. I immediately want to know what you're thinking.
Yeah, this was I was pretty upset when I read about this because it's like Ubisoft. In the first game I thought was just okay. Like I don't think there's anything to like rave about the first game. I think it was like a good foundation, but it was just the fact that like this was one of the few things that Ubisoft had that was new. Even though if it was a lot of open world and like a lot of bloat on the map, but at least it was like it was a Breath of the Wild like style open world compared to your normal Ubisoft, and it was like I thought with a sequel they could have had something. They could have like made the dungeon better. They could have built on a ton of stuff in the first game that it worked for the what it was. It just didn't nail it. And the update about how it might not be canceled like fully, and they're just pushing like they're obviously pushing. At some point, I think this game comes out. I think it's
Oh,
now
do
going
you
to take
believe it
longer.
comes out?
Yes, I think this game does come out. I do not think, and especially with the backlash, I guess you should call it on Twitter, about how fans really wanted this game. Like I was actually surprised when I read about how many people were like upset about this not getting like this being canned.
I don't believe them. I don't believe
You
them.
know, I
I
haven't
think they just
met
want like
many people
another
who played this
Ubisoft game
game.
that I think they just want another non-Assassin's Creed like Ubisoft game to come out, but they're not gonna buy it day one. I don't
And
believe them.
that's the thing is like they're moving assets away from this to push out the other Ubisoft games. They're like, I mean, the other Assassin's Creed games. They're like, we need to take away assets from this sequel so we can push out our Assassin's Creed games faster. And it's just like you could
The
have them both. Like I
You
don't
think
know.
that's the future of Ubisoft in general, just an Assassin's Creed machine, Tom Clancy machine, or do you think they're still going to take risks? With like maybe Ubisoft Originals program coming back, stuff like that. Do you believe that there's a future still for that?
I think we do because like even just within the next 12 months, you got the Star Wars game, you have Prince of Persia, like you have some other projects that will come out and will be good, but I just wish it feels like they're not fully committing. They're stuck in like a 50-50 zone where they're like, do we go full in on like Assassin's Creed? Like they're doing the entire Assassin's Creed universe thing where there's like 6 Assassin's Creed games coming out and it's all under a live service branch. Like they're doing that, but then they're also like throwing out Prince of Persia games that look really good, but they also look lower budget. Like it doesn't look like they're pushing. The Star Wars is like the biggest thing they're coming out with, which is big budget, and that's just like from the Division team. They're just like throwing the Division team on like something. I just like Ubisoft has so many things they can do, and if this sequel really is canceled, it just like it will be upsetting from like a higher up standpoint of like where their like brain is at with trying to make video games.
Okay, it's more like a suggestion. I don't know, obviously, but obviously the first game was very similar to Breath of the Wild. As you know, Breath of the Wild 2 came out, and that game's mechanics alone are ridiculous. Is it possible this game was canceled because they couldn't? This is gonna be obvious comparisons to Tears of the Kingdom with this, and it might have been night and day. Do you think
No,
that's like a reason
I
why?
doubt that.
I doubt it.
I doubt
Because
it.
like
I
then they
doubt they
wouldn't have made the
care.
first game.
They just need to feed the Assassin's Creed machine at the end.
They just want to feed the Assassin's Creed machine, and I also don't think it's fully canned. I think it's just put on the back burner as they just want to pump out all their Assassin's Creeds first. And this seems to be a thing going on recently because we just also had that report from, I forget which company it is, Warner Brothers or one of them, but they're like not going to be doing any original animated movies for a while. It's all just going to be whatever IPs they have, Paramount. So it seems certain companies are now just really afraid of original ideas at the moment, and they're just going to double down on whatever established IPs they have. And since Immortals didn't take off, they don't consider that an IP, so they're like, okay, back to Assassin's Creed, back to what works until Assassin's Creed crashes and burns again, and then maybe they'll take another risk on something. But I don't think it'll be fully Assassin's Creed. I think it's going to be like 80 to 90% Assassin's Creed, and then every once in a while they'll put out a Prince of Persia, a Crew, a Rayman, or not Rayman, but Rabbids and stuff like that. There's still Tom Clancy, yeah.
We
So
wish Rayman was good.
The reason why they're failing because they haven't brought back Rayman. Let it be known.
Exactly.
Bring him back.
Let it be known.
The GOAT.
But I do feel like they'll revisit this at some point. Maybe your Tears of the Kingdom idea has some weight to it. Like maybe like, okay, let's wait until the Tears of the Kingdom hype dies down in a couple of years, then we'll bring back our Immortals, and maybe people won't make as much comparisons.
My one thing to that is like, I felt like I haven't played all of Breath of the Wild, I put like 25 hours, and honestly, like, there's definitely comparisons. They definitely took some stuff from Breath of the Wild, but like, nothing, like, other than the way the world interacts with you, I don't see much Breath of the Wild in Immortals. So I've always thought it was like, there was definitely stuff there, like, you could see the stuff in the dungeons, but it's like, maybe it all just looks not as comparable because the game's just so much worse, as sad as that sounds, where it's just like, the dungeons and everything they did, it's just like you have Breath of the Wild, which is like the peak of the genre, and then like Immortals is like very average mid. So
yeah, it was just my bad for cutting you off. But like the first thing that comes to mind when somebody says Immortals is just like Breath of the Wild clone.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely where it's like they were trying to chase something, but it's also like it was. I mean, a lot of teams have tried to chase that now, like the Breath of the Wild. It was more of like the Immortals open world felt very Breath of the Wild like, but it was like Breath of the Wild if you threw your Ubisoft nonsense into it still, like your Ubisoft map nonsense on top of the Breath of the Wild world. So I don't think it ever fully flushed out into something that was good because it was like the company as a whole, they were like stuck in the middle ground of not going all in. I feel like Ubisoft has not went all in on anything but Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that kind of feels like it was an uphill battle for them to lose. Like, people are going to like it because they're obviously seeing it and be like, oh, this is just you trying to cash in on Breath of the Wild. Then you throw in the Ubisoft bullshit of that not a lot of people like, and then you mix those two things together. Like, this was a lose-lose situation for this game. And so now, like I said, they probably just want the heat to die down after Tears of the Kingdom become the smashing success that it is. They're like, yeah, let's just let this cook for a little bit in the back end and not worry about that for a couple of years.
Yeah, and I know plenty of people where people think this is the best Ubisoft game in the past 5 years. Skillup's one of them. Like, Skillup loves this game. Like, his review was very good of this game. Where like people thought like, because it was different at the very least of what everything Ubisoft has put out since Far Cry 3. This game at least felt different. So like a lot of people ran with this game. So like there was a following. It just like it probably didn't sell well. It was like $15 after 3 weeks. Like I swear I got it for $15 after Christmas or something. Like,
that's how I got it.
Yeah, like it. So, and that's all. At the end of the day, money's all that matters. Like if your sales are not good, you're not getting a sequel.
Yeah, that's honestly very disappointing in general to see Ubisoft can a new IP like that, or a newer IP. You know what I mean? But hopefully in the like you guys say that like we get the sequel to eventually come back in some way. Because, like they said, it's not fully canceled. Very much feels like a back burner type deal at the moment.
I will say my biggest disappointment with it is the fact they were going to go into the Polynesian mythology for it, which would have been really cool because not a lot of games have touched that. It's like we have a million games about Greek mythology like we did with the first game, and yet, but now it was like we're going to get something a little bit more fresh with Polynesian. Like, oh, okay, that just got canceled.
Yeah, eventually they could have gone into Chinese mythology, which would have been really exciting for me personally, because I love Chinese mythology.
I will say, I think I played Hades right before this game, and I was just like, Hades does the mythology so much better.
That is
yeah.
So like, it kind of already was climbing an uphill battle for me when I'm like, these like the way you're portraying these gods and stuff are cool, but like Hades, like it just did it better.
Cool, but
unwinnable
Hades.
battle.
Yeah.
Found the title for the video. Cool, but Hades.
I'm moving on to more positive news. The Red Dead Redemption Remaster logo. This comes from Tezfun over on Twitter. I keep wanting to call it X, but I'm like, I can't give it up.
No,
it's
that.
Twitter to me.
It is X.
Still Twitter to me. Over at Twitter, Rockstar's new site update live an hour ago added a new reference within the games list. This isn't an hour ago. This was like yesterday, I think. Red Dead Redemption Rockstar Presents version, codename RDR1 RSP. Red Dead Redemption 1 Remaster SP. New logo below, and there's a logo for it and everything. You can look it up. This pretty much kind of tells me that Red Dead Redemption Remaster is very much real. And the question we're all having is, when is it getting revealed and when is it getting released? Fusion, you're a big Rockstar guy. I'm going to throw it right back to you again.
Yeah, this for one makes me super excited, but I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think next month, August, this gets a trailer and this comes out in November.
Dude, I hope so.
Like I'm fully, like I'm 100% on board where this is like within the next 3 weeks, they're dropping a trailer. It's going to come out like November 17th or something, and we're going to be playing it this year.
I really, really hope so. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 is like one of my all-time favorite games, but I never beat the first game. So this is just my finally an opportunity, an excuse to finally go through this game. So I hope it's very well. We know it's real, but like I hope it's this year, like you say.
Yeah, I've owned Red Dead 2 2 times and I still haven't played it. So I'll buy this probably.
You'll buy this and not play it as well?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
sitting on the
I don't
shelf. Dude,
I don't know.
imagine a PS5 case of this game.
Oh
he's,
god,
he's depending. He's waiting to see how he feels about it.
Fusion, you think this gets a physical release?
Yes.
I'd assume so. Maybe not a big one.
GTA Trilogy got one, and that game was something else. So
I think it will. Yeah.
It was a video game.
I just don't. I don't see like GTA 6 is coming next year. There's no like. This just feels like people want this, so it's not like fan service, but it's also just like Rockstar hasn't put out something in so long, other than that like trilogy thing, which they gave to someone else anyways, and it was messed up and terrible. So
yeah,
like,
you don't think this is gonna end up like trilogy? You have more faith?
No, I don't think. I think this was more internal.
Agreed.
And I think, and the fact like my big thing, like a big thing about this is like Red Dead Redemption 1 was not on PC. To this day, that game has not been playable on computer.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, so this this opens up an entire like new fan base to this game.
Think of
you
the
think
mods.
It's PC? What if they just don't put it on PC though? They
No,
could very much
hilarious.
dude, they have to. If they release this game and they're like, oh, it's still not on PC.
Rockstar is weird. Rockstar is like one of the strangest companies because like they go dark for like 5 years, put out a masterpiece, and then go dark again, and then they never release their games on PC until like 2 or 3 years later. So it's just a weird thing because Red Dead 2 that launched and that did not have a PC version.
Yeah, it came out a year later.
Yeah, that was strange. You think this one's day and date?
Yeah, I think it will be.
Yeah, we live in a different industry now. It's like it's very weird not to have day and date PC unless you're fucking Sony with Final Fantasy 16.
Red Dead Redemption 2 has done so well on PC, and it's like
that's true.
Like the PC community loves that game, so like I can see it it's definitely gonna be day and date. I'm just more. I remember when it first was like announced, people were thinking more of a remake, and it sounds like it's just a remaster, but like which is fine as long as it. I assume it's gonna be. 60 FPS on console, and like it's gonna look a lot nicer. And I think like the bigger aspect is it coming to computer finally, like coming to Steam, coming to wherever it's gonna go.
Hey, I'm excited. I mean, love Rockstar. They never miss, except when they give their games to other development studios. But usually, if they're making the game,
GTA collection, bro.
yeah, no. Well, that was another studio though. But like, if we're talking about Rockstar internal, like their actual like the games they put out, then yeah, they just never miss.
And they have signed up. They have Max Payne, like Remedy's doing that, right?
Yeah, Remedy's doing Max Payne.
So like Rockstar's in a world right now where they're remastering a bunch of their old stuff. So like this just makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually wanted to pose that. You think we get GTA 4 eventually?
No, because I don't think they want it to cannibalize GTA 6.
I don't.
Where's a big deal?
Is
don't
that
know.
a possibility of cannibalizing GTA
No,
6?
I don't
Well,
think
not
so.
cannibalize, but like, I don't know. It just
First-party
feels
GTA
weird,
content.
distracting. Maybe I don't know.
The
Yeah.
thing
right
with
word
this
is.
this rumor is Rockstar said earlier of March this year that there was going to be 2 like premiere updates to their video games. So like a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's going to be Red Dead Redemption 1 remaster and GTA 4 remaster." I'm not on that boat. I think the second part will be Red Dead Redemption 2 next gen. I think we're also going to get that alongside this remaster. So we'll see.
Redemption 1 and the crucifixion of the GTA 6 sticker.
I think Red Dead.
No,
I
that
think
guy got
GTA
out.
6 is next year.
They got higher hit than after that, bro.
Bench said something interesting. GTA 6 next year. Do you guys all believe that?
Yes.
Unfortunately.
A man can dream, man.
It will be next holiday. You'll be playing.
Me and Fusion were talking about this. We were just like, it's like that feeling of like randomly remembering. It's like, oh man, GTA 6. That's gonna be a video game that we play one day. It just feels good, you know.
I should get around to playing 5.
It'll be another 97
Genuinely.
on Metacritic.
Genuinely, 5 is like one of my all-time favorite games. I say that a lot. I need to stop saying that.
Yeah, every game of yours is also favorite.
Every game is your favorite game of all time.
Okay.
Even Skyward Sword.
No, stop that. I hate this
Multiple
narrative.
copies of it. He loves it, bro.
Oh my god. Okay. Just know me. Rockstar, FromSoft, Nintendo first party, like that's my shit. All right.
The first party, you heard it here first. Skyward Sword.
Not Skyward Sword though. There are exceptions.
He said it himself.
No, this is the worst. I hate this. All right, moving on to our small topics. This is one that I really wanted to talk to Fusion specifically about. Fusion going on and on and on, man. I'm sorry, Fusion. It's just it turns out
We're putting
that
in
way.
the work. It's usually been gone for so long.
Yeah,
It
really.
was 1 week.
Last week.
Ubisoft will close your account if you are inactive long enough. This came over from anti-DRM over on Twitter. I keep wanting to say X. I'm trying to stop myself, guys. I really am. It's just I see the title of the
Just say
website as
X.
X.
Just embrace it.
No, Twitter. Ubisoft closes your account if you haven't logged in for some time. You will lose all your games purchased forever. And then he posted a screenshot of an email from Ubisoft. Hello, we noticed that you have not been using your Ubisoft account associated with email address blank. We have temporarily suspended your inactive Ubisoft account and we'll be closing it permanently in 30 days in accordance with our terms of use. Fusion, this is the digital future. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is dumb, and the fact that they like backed it up when they're like, "Yeah, we like this is how we do things." I was like, "Bro, are you like this is a?" I think they said on Twitter they responded to someone. They're like, "Yeah, if you just answer the email within the first 30 days, you're good." Like, what if someone doesn't check their email or like are on someplace with no internet for 30 days, like a vacation or something?
Yeah, Ubisoft support replied to the tweet, "Hey there, we just wanted to chime in that you can avoid the account closure by logging into your account within the 30 days and selecting the cancel account closure link contained in the email. We certainly do not want you to lose access to your games or your account, so if you have difficulty logging in, then please create a support case with us."
Yeah, insane. This is when like Bench loves the digital future, and like a lot of other people, not just Bench, but like this is what we're trying to avoid. This is why like people who like physical video games are like get so frustrated where people are like, let's just move to all digital. Let's do this. Like
it's like
this is not okay. This is not okay. This should not be legal on any terms of anything, but it is. So they're just gonna get away with it, and they double down on it, so they don't care. Like they're not gonna change it.
Did they give any specifications on like how long your account needs to be inactive for you to get that?
30 days. Or
No,
wait,
that-
for how long the
No,
inactivity?
I think it was
it's
6 years. I could be wrong, but I think it was 6 years.
Oh
I think
man, of
it's-
course they're inactive. There's no good Ubisoft games the last 6 years. Hang on.
It's like, I think 6 years. Like, if you haven't even logged into your account, you're clearly
Well,
not using that. But there
Yeah,
is a
but
point
you
to, like,
lose those
to the
games
games.
forever. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
the games that you've heard, that is the shitty part. But regarding closing the account, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I mean, not fine, but just like it's reasonable. Like, if you're not using your account for 6 years, it is shitty though. They delete your purchases, so anything
yeah,
that you purchase.
that's my thing. Is like, I purchase games and put it on the shelf. There's probably games here I won't touch for 6, 10 years. It's not like they like,
still
but I
own
still
them.
own them. They're still on my
Yeah.
shelf, and my money, they're mine. You know what I mean?
100%.
Now we're experiencing the people with the VHSs, and those things just rot away on your shelf.
Yeah.
It's the
And I
newer
will-
version of that.
I will defend my co-host Bench. When Bench says digital future, it's mostly a joke. At the end of the day,
Mostly
it's
a
totally
joke.
fine if you want to play all digital. I'm sorry, Bench. What?
Oh, I said mostly a joke, but yeah, I'm digital pretty much all the way.
Yeah, I defend you, but you just want to be snide and okay. I'm just gonna say this, but like, it's fine if you want to play all digital, like not buy physical games, that's fine. But to say that we should just move all digital and like, oh, screw physical media, you have to understand that like the companies will now have full brain to do whatever the hell they want, and just have physical games there. You don't have to buy them. That's all I'll say. Me and Fusion, we're weirdos. We like our physical games. Bench likes his digital games. We don't fight about it. All right, like there's no reason to like completely
You're lying to our
bar
audience.
off.
They don't know what happens behind closed doors.
I do think, however, that we're going to see. I mean, we kind of see it like way more often this year. That like even big AAA games are only digital. I think that's going to become a norm soon, and then just like digital future, it's here. As bad as that is, I do think it's
Yeah, I don't see
very
it on the
soon.
dock, but what was that other like big game that just announced they were
Like a
going
Dragon.
full? Oh,
Titan.
Like a
Yeah,
Dragon.
that
That's
was-
right.
That was like the official announcement. I mean, we knew, but like I didn't think to like double dip on that. But yeah, I guess we could talk about like they did officially announce that game is all digital in the
I want to
West.
say, real quick, this is very much them just pushing to see how far they can get away with it. This shit's gonna get. This is very much them fucking around, and they're gonna find out. I don't see this sticking, like under no circumstances whatsoever.
Something big and bad has to happen for them not to go back to not
The amount
continue
of
that.
backlash you're gonna get from something so fucking stupid. Like I don't know when this goes into effect, if it hasn't, but like as soon as it does, like this shit's not gonna fly.
Outside of an EMP happening, I don't know what's going to cause any
Don't
kind of
worry.
big backlash against pure digital.
I'm gonna intervene. Don't worry. I'll do something.
Go
He's
get
gonna
him,
stop
Fusion.
him himself.
Fusion's building the
That's a
EMP.
threat.
He's gonna march to their fucking offices.
If the video game industry is
Forward.
listening, that is a threat, a formal threat.
Here, let it be known here, your Fusion on your ass.
Everything is going to go to the Spider-Man Digital Deluxe route, where you can get a nice physical package of stuff, but it's still a digital
like,
game.
I can't believe like the fact that they're doing
God,
that.
that is
They're giving you
insane.
physical things with like codes in the boxes.
Yeah,
like,
that's.
oh,
That's
I
cool,
didn't
though.
buy it just for that
I
reason.
defend that.
I mean, they have
Because
to
let's-
because of the way the PlayStation digital is.
Not
Like,
even.
so
like
that
digital,
There's some digital only consoles, but like I want to collect the collector's edition stuff too. So I
of
like
course.
I like more options. That's what I'm trying to say. More options
That's
is
the
always
thing.
good.
I feel like there should be a disc version as well, but I also
there should be.
understand
I agree
it's
with
kind of
that
a logistical nightmare. But also, this is Sony. This is a multi-billion-dollar company. I understand maybe it's going to cost a little
Power
more if
to
we
the
have a disc
players.
edition as well. It's like, just do it. You can afford it. Spider-Man's going to make you money back.
And I'm like, I don't even know if Xbox makes physical video games anymore because
I
do.
never
It's
see
like-
them.
it's
like they're
impossible
there.
to get them.
Yeah,
I
there's
saw
like there's a
Redfall
lot of-
once physically in stores.
Even like
did it have
Halo
60
Infinite.
FPS on the box?
No, it probably did. Oh yeah, it did on the back.
Yeah, on the box it
60
says 60 FPS, but then they had to put a sticker that said, "Oh, this game doesn't do 60 FPS."
Did that get the 60 yet? Very random side note.
No,
Haven't gotten an
that still
update?
hasn't.
I don't
They've
think so.
said nothing about that game. It's
There
It's
was an
dead.
Everything is
update
gonna
around
happen.
E3. It's weird. Digital future. Let's go, baby.
digital
Um,
future.
Next news story. This is a really fast one. Shinobi over on Twitter got this. High on Life is now available on PS4 and PS5. You guys have any opinions on this?
A very quirky game. I don't know how else to say it. It's a weird ass game. Have fun
It was
with
a fun.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, it was
feel
a fun
anything
time,
towards it.
but
had
this
one other
definitely
point.
feels like the shadow drop feels like because they're just avoiding the Justin Roiland stuff, the drama behind that.
Yeah,
So they're just like
they don't want
they
to
just
like
put it out, just put it on the store, make whatever money they can from the people, the commoners or whatever, the common crowd that doesn't know about
the
those
people who don't really
allegations.
care.
Yeah, the people who don't know Justin Roiland, they're just like, oh look, quirky game. Oh, Rick and Morty, cool. Same guy, cool. Let's buy this game. So they just put it out like with no celebration or anything. They just said, here you go.
Dude, a side note, I was watching Invincible and Justin Roiland voices a character in that show, and it straight up was like a jump scare. I was like, what the fuck with Justin Roiland? I had to like check the fucking ad credits. It's like, oh yeah, that's Justin Roiland. Okay. Moving on. Fusion, I have another story for you, buddy.
Damn Fusion.
Fusion MVP.
This is the Fusion show. Star Wars Outlaws. We got some details on this game. Shinobi over on Twitter got a good summary of everything. Star Wars Outlaws, more details. Tatooine will be fully explorable. I have thoughts on that. You can work for or betray Jabba the Hutt. Setting between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi means the Empire is busy with rebellion and teased cooking system. And then there was another quote I wanted to pull up. Shinobi also had this. Star Wars Outlaws won't be a bloated experience, says creative director Julian Garrity. Quote, it's absolutely not a 200 or 300 hour epic unfinishable RPG. This is a very focused action adventure RPG that will take people on a ride and is very manageable. Fusion, what's your top level thoughts on this?
It's like, as the weeks go by and this game keeps getting more news, I'm more excited for it. Like, they're just doing everything they're saying like is somehow right. And it's been so long since a Ubisoft project has given me those vibes where it's like everything they've been saying, I'm like, yep, I want that, I like this. And this was just like the extra icing on the cake when they're like, it's not going to be a million hours long like every other Ubisoft game.
I do have one problem with the game.
As well.
I'm not happy that I'm playing a Star Wars game with no lightsaber.
Dude, I
Listen,
love
I
it.
know they're not going.
I love that.
You
Jedi
have like
stuff.
20. You have 20.
I know, that's why
I
I love it.
However,
give me
I don't want it to be just a shooter. I just don't want that. I want to have a lightsaber.
You're talking about the Division team here, bro. All they know is shooters.
Yeah, but I want a lightsaber.
Go
My
play
issue is
Jedi
more,
Survivor.
Survivor.
Yeah,
I have.
I mean, that's why you have the Jedi game. That's why I'm so excited for this game. Is like I enjoy the Jedi games a lot, and like Respawn has done a great job. But like this game just has different vibes. It feels darker. Like I'm getting like
give
a
me
lot
the
of
dark
Rockstar.
underbelly of Star Wars.
Yeah, like I'm getting Rockstar energy from this project. Like
Okay, let's calm down. Rockstar?
No, I mean I'm not saying it's gonna be Rockstar quality, but like you've seen
Okay.
the
He said
bounties.
Rockstar energy.
Yeah, like they're giving the bounty system
That's
and
fair.
like, all of that. Like it's giving me like a Red Dead Redemption 2 style Star Wars game.
Just having
Cool
guns
though.
and stuff doesn't get me that excited. I want some cool stuff.
Bro, you got a
That's
little like
cool enough, but
Blasters are cool.
you got
Blasters are
alien
cool.
Fun is
friend.
cool stuff. My man just said cool stuff with no
I
definition.
want a lightsaber.
You have a million other Star
I don't
Wars
even
games.
need Force. Have it, the backstory be like I killed a Jedi and I got their lightsaber. I don't even need Force.
How it works.
That's
You
not how that
need to be
works.
a Jedi to use the
I know, like,
lightsaber.
it just says start swinging the lightsaber.
That man has never watched a Star Wars movie in his life.
yeah, but getting into that,
It doesn't have to be
leads right
that
to my point.
complicated, but I want a lightsaber in my Star Wars game. That's all I'm
Let
asking
Dark
for.
talk. Dark, please talk.
I've been trying to like some fucking look. Why the fuck is Tatooine here? Can we?
I
like,
was
have
just
an
about
issue
to
now.
bring that up. I am so sick of Tatooine.
Look,
For the
I've
love of
played
God,
a lot of
get
Star
off
Wars
this
games. I
planet.
love Star Wars games. Tatooine and the movies. What is up with this planet? Can we leave it alone, please?
They want Jabba.
In the lore,
Fuck
it
Jabba.
is literally referred to as a backwater planet with nothing on it. And they're like, oh, it's nothing. But they
How many
keep going
times
back to it.
do we have to explore the shitty fucking sand planet?
Nobody
Every
likes
Star Wars
Tatooine.
games.
I
I'm tired of it.
I agree, but also like this one, I could see them going like doing more, making it more like
No.
diverse or like something with this
I'm
one.
guessing it's the
insane.
like tutorial planet, so you'll be there for the beginning of the game, then you'll go off. Because then they say it's like 4 or 5 planets worth of content.
How big are these?
Yeah, but one of those planets is fucking Tatooine.
Yeah, because it's your tutorial.
Something
It's your tutorial
You're
planet.
gonna get the usual video game themes. It's gonna be an ice planet. There's gonna be like an industrial city.
A water
There'll
planet.
be
I forgot
there'll
the
be a
name.
jungle
water
planet.
I
the
hate
fire
Ice
planet.
Planet.
Yeah.
Fuck
How
you,
big are these
Tatooine.
planets?
Oh, I don't.
I want more cities. Like, and from everything they've
I'm with you,
shown, like I want like more density. Like I want Star Wars density. You know what I mean? Where like you're walking through
Yeah,
more
you get
cities
sand
and stuff
instead.
like that. Like I could care
I
less
will
about
say
the Jedi
another
games. I'm
reser-
walking around barren planets all day. Like that's what I've
Another
already
I
done.
was about to say that was my biggest
Reser-
criticism of Survivor.
another reservation is ship combat because Starfield is just going to be better, and it's already going to be out.
Okay, but I mean,
You're just
that
throwing
doesn't
things
mean
out
But
the
how
window.
do
I don't
How
think
do
it's
we
trying
know
to
that,
compete with
though?
Starfield.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah,
that.
the ship combat was like the best part of that trailer when I saw the game. I was like, oh wow,
But-
ship combat was great.
How big are these planets going to be?
Hopefully not that big.
Didn't they say like multiple zones of like Assassin's Creed?
I think they
Honestly,
said
right?
They said.
Okay,
I think they
that's
said.
not saying much because that game is fucking large as shit. So,
I think they said there would be like city size of like an Assassin's Creed.
Which are pretty big
I think-
cities.
I think they said it's the equivalent to 4 zones in
Oh, okay,
Assassin's
roughly-
Creed Odyssey.
Here it is.
Was it Odyssey?
Roughly the
I think it
size.
was Odyssey.
Roughly the size of 2 zones in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh,
Okay, my bad. Not 4. But that game is so fucking big. 2
That's a big
zones.
game, yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I hope the game is good. I have faith, semi faith. I have faith that people will like it. The one I don't know how I'll feel about it personally, but I think Fusion will like it.
I'm all in on the character already. As like this is gonna sound like we're throwing shade at Cal Kestis, and I really like Cal Kestis. But like as someone who just played through the Star Wars games, like I like from the 15-minute gameplay in the trailer from Star Wars Outlaw, it's like I already like this girl more.
Yeah, I like this. I like the characters. I like the idea behind it. I'm not as Star Wars burnt out as the rest of y'all because I haven't been watching the shows or anything. So I'm
never
not.
seen a movie.
I don't watch anything.
So
Calling it now. I have.
I have like
believe
I
it's
am
Star Wars.
not burnt out on Tatooine.
She's gonna die at Tatooine. I'm calling it now. They're gonna put her grave. She's gonna die in Tatooine, and it's gonna lead into the movie somehow. But that's what they love doing. I don't know why. They're fucking obsessed with that fucking planet.
There's a Jedi that survived Order 66, which apparently every Jedi survived.
Every
A
Jedi
lot of
survived
Jedis
that.
survived this.
I should play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Is it good?
Yes, it's the best.
Everyone considers it probably
of
one of the
the
best
best.
modern
Yeah.
Assassin's
It's too
Creed.
big.
It's good, but it is a long
Gigantic.
fucking game.
It is very long.
And okay, this is a small side tangent. You do have to grind in an Assassin's Creed, which
That is also
it feels,
true.
And you
it
can
feels
buy the
really
time
fucking good.
savers.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
whenever
look-
I want to. Maybe when I'm in the mood for a
you
map
either
game.
grind or you spend money. They made it so you spend money so you can circumvent you grinding.
Dude,
So is it worth going back to this instead of like Valhalla?
Yes, yes.
People don't
Okay,
like Valhalla.
with Valhalla you don't really have to grind. Valhalla's just super fucking long.
Valhalla's
it's
just a
super
way
bloated.
to
Is there like actually
Yeah.
an interesting story to be told, and are like the expansions good in Odyssey?
Odyssey is
Yes, the
fantastic.
characters are
That's all
good.
you need to know.
And the expansion is just there is grinding and it's a super long.
You
fucking
have to
game.
play as Cassandra. If you pick the
Yeah,
dude,
play as Cassandra.
Cassandra's the better of the two.
Maybe that's why I wasn't. I played the dude.
Yeah, you messed up.
Oh,
Well,
I'll give
Cassandra
it a
is so
shot.
good.
I actually
when I
liked
have time.
Alexios.
I don't think he's
They're both
bad.
good characters, but
Yeah,
Cassandra is
yeah.
the more fleshed out one.
I was gonna say they're
I
definitely
don't know,
both not
they've
bad,
like
but
the world
Cassandra's
map
so
big.
good. Dude,
I
it's
feel-
gigantic.
Very.
It's an understatement. That
gigantic.
game is dumb.
It's so
I'll check it out
It's
whenever.
probably
I'm in
one of
mood
the
for a
biggest
map
maps
game
you've probably
again.
seen in a video
I
game.
think it's both on Xbox and like Game Pass and PS Extra. So
Is this
download
like in
whichever
the
version
same
you
vein
want.
of like Witcher 3? Because I played that recently.
It's bigger than Witcher 3.
Like yeah, the map's bigger than Witcher.
I mean, like what you're getting.
No,
like,
no.
You're not gonna get the quality
In my-
of Witcher 3.
no, in my
It's
opinion,
Assassin's
no.
Creed.
But it's the closest Assassin's Creed games have gotten to it.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll
I
check it
agree.
out whenever I have time.
Same thing with Valhalla. I feel like Valhalla's the better game, but it's
No.
you pick your poison.
I think Odyssey side quests are so much better than Valhalla's. But
I'll check it out later this year, early next year. Then
Moving on.
Yeah, okay.
Moving on. Sea of Stars is coming to PlayStation Plus Extra. Comes from friend of the show, Noble. Sea of Stars is coming to PS Extra besides Game Pass on launch day. Demo out now. Sea of Stars launches August 29th for Xbox One Series, PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. Moon, I know you're excited for this game. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I checked out the demo finally. It's kind of funny that I downloaded the demo on the Switch like months ago when it was added, and then I never played it. It comes to PlayStation, and I immediately play it. I don't know what's going on there.
He's just like, for real.
but I haven't finished it yet. It's actually a pretty decent sized demo. I haven't finished it yet, but so far it's hitting everything I want out of what this game is. A top-down, really high-quality pixel turn-based RPG with a lot of quirky, tongue-in-cheek humor. Like, my favorite thing so far is you meet this pirate gang, and the captain's name is Captain Klee, and last name Shay. Captain Cliche. It's so dumb, but I love it.
That's good. That's good.
But the combat is very interesting. It's turn-based, but also there's a like almost mini-game aspect to it. Like if you play as the girl, that's another thing. It's kind of like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. There's a male character and a female character. You pick which one you play as. You don't miss out on the other character. They are on your party. It's just who do you directly control. So if you play as the girl, which I did because I just found her to be the more interesting character. But her special ability is like this crescent moon-shaped boomerang, and just to give a good example of what you can expect from the combat in this game is you throw the boomerang, and as it comes back to you after it hits the opponent, if you hit the button again, it will bounce off you and hit another opponent. So, and you can keep going that for a while. I think I hit like 7 enemies with that thing before the speed of the QuickTime event caught me. So they all turn into like little QuickTime events to either like boost how many enemies you hit, how much damage you do, because the guy also has like a sunball attack, so you smash your button to increase the damage of your sunball. So it's a really cool combat. Story seems fun. It's very early RPG, like I said, quirkiness. So, and I'm definitely gonna be supporting it being on PS Extra. I'll be getting it there. I was gonna get on Game Pass, but I'm gonna get on PS Extra now because this is now the third.
Pony.
This is now the third day one PS Extra game after Stray and Humanity, and I want to support them doing this more.
Chie was also there.
Oh, Chie, so it's the fourth. Cool, even better. Yeah. So yeah, I want to still support that. So I want to show Jim Ryan, give me more games day one. I'll download Sea of Stars on PS Extra instead of Game Pass. You won. You win, Jim. You win, Jim Ryan.
I'm so happy that you like the demo.
He's gaslighting.
It makes me so happy because this game has been like my most anticipated game for like 2 years.
Oh really?
Yeah, like
What happened to Silksong?
Well, that game just doesn't exist.
Yeah, that game doesn't exist. How can you be excited for a game that doesn't exist?
And like, as Wolf always gonna be crap, I played Hollow Knight like 6 months ago, so like I knew.
And this guy acts like he's been there. Tell us at the beginning. Wait,
I was there. I was in the shadows. I was there.
You were not. You didn't play the game.
I played Hollow Knight in 2017. I got 20 hours in. I just couldn't beat it at the time.
When I tell you guys, he beat Hollow Knight, and the next day it's like, when are we getting Silksong news? It's like, bro, you did not live in the trenches. Don't act like you've been here with me.
He's lying. Viewers, he's lying.
It's like, who brought the new guy?
Hey, come on, man.
Get a load of this guy.
Join the circus.
Like,
no, but I'm actually really excited for Sea of Stars as well. I loved The Messenger. I never beat it, but
this is my Starfield game. Like when you guys are playing Starfield, no, like I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be, but like when you guys are playing Starfield, this is what I'll be playing.
There's Fusion and I will be over here playing Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
I'll be done with the game before both of you. I'll let you guys know my thoughts. I'm very hyped for this game as well.
Oh, Sea of Stars, you're getting it?
Field takes priority.
I've been hyped for it.
He said he's gonna beat before both of us. Like I don't beat video games very fast too. I'm like, what?
No, yeah, you do, but you're not on my level, bro. You know you play Spro.
No, I don't believe it.
Dark, you're going to be playing Starfield. Don't act like you're going to take your time to play CS.
There's like a good 6 days before Starfield comes out.
And this game's short too. They said it was
playing Trails too.
Oh, is it short? I was kind of. It definitely seems like. Yeah, it definitely feels like they're going for that old classic, like Final Fantasy, really lengthy JRPG style. So I thought it was going to be a long game.
I thought it was going to be long too.
Oh, I can look into it.
I'm trying to find something.
I hope you're right. Give me like 25 hours.
Okay, so yeah, it's a full 8 days between Sea of Stars and Starfield.
That is plenty of time.
Well, Starfield comes out on the 1st, technically, for the people paying $100 like myself.
Yeah, I don't mind
waiting. We're just
it's gonna be fucking great.
Binks is so rich, guys.
I mean, have you seen how many vacations he's taken?
I think he's just a sucker like me.
Wolf was buying the Super Collector's Edition. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I bought the $300 one. So.
$300
for a game you're getting on Game Pass.
That's crazy.
When Game suck my.
Wolf
Hey,
is
dude,
passionate about
Game
games,
Pass
okay?
doesn't give you a
Even
wallet.
if the game is bad, he'll buy it multiple times.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! This is such a dumb narrative. I'm just dumb, okay? Don't say that I like these bad games.
Starfield's a bad
Yeah.
game now, is it?
No, I
Fucking
didn't
hot
say
take.
that. When did I say that?
Wolf is like going down more by the second.
Wolf is spiraling, bro.
I'm gonna cry. Okay. Next news story. Get away from that. This comes from Okami Games. We got some Armored Core 6 preview details. He kind of did a good, a little roundup of everything. Game will be 50 to 60 hours long. Environments are much larger and more vertical. Enemies get more aggressive as their health drops. PC has native 120 FPS support. First ever FromSoft game to do so. Ray tracing can be enabled for the garage. I don't know what that means. Permanent upgrades can be earned in arena mode. OS upgrades allow you to customize the feel of your mech, and then huge variety of missions. Armory stations allow you to change loadout mid-mission. Moon, I remember there was a lot of previews for Armored Core 6, and I remember Moon telling me it's like, I'm actually hyped for this game now. I'm more interested. You still feel that way?
I wasn't really feeling it until I saw that extended gameplay trailer that just came out the other day. Or not like a trailer, but like, this is what I was waiting for. Like, I remember saying, yeah, none of this like CGI trailer is getting to me. Like, give me straight gameplay. And that's what we finally got with this 12 minutes. And I'm like, okay, combat looks cool. And then we got to like the real like trailer like action shots. I'm like, oh god, this game might be too hard for me. But I'm still interested to check it out. I'm not going to mention my plan that I mentioned. That's not needed for the podcast.
Your plan? What did you do?
Well, since Starfield, I don't have to pay anything. In Armored Core, I do. I'm going to wait and see if Starfield is going to hook me. And if it doesn't, then I'll buy Armored Core. But if it does, I'll just stick with Starfield. That's my plan, basically.
If you don't stick with Starfield, then you're off the podcast. It's a requirement. Sorry, man. I don't make the rules.
All right, cool. Good to know. But yeah, the combat seems the most like FromSoft game that I can get into combat-wise. So I'm interested to check it out, see if it really is like the bullet hell that I can't handle. Like, I need to go play Returnal and see if can I even handle bullet hells.
Oh man, Returnal is so much fun, but it is very difficult.
Yeah, so I need to check that out at some point.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm extremely excited for this game. I love FromSoft. First Armored Core. I talked about it a lot last week, so I'm not going to recite a lot of what I was saying before. But yeah, this is definitely one of my more anticipated games. Only problem is that they decided to release it next to Starfield, so that's fun. But I'm still probably going to check this game out at least for like the week before Starfield. And I mean, just in general, like
And
this
drop
gameplay. Yes, and drop it. This gameplay pretty much solidified all my thoughts on the game. It's like, yeah, this looks incredible. FromSoft never misses. Let's do it.
Yeah, the slower combat looked like fun. It was the more intense stuff that we got in like a gameplay trailer, I guess. All the fast action shots, I'm like, that made me question myself. But the slower stuff looked awesome.
You got to believe in yourself, man.
You said FromSoft never misses, but like before Dark Souls, they missed a lot. So.
Fusion, did I ask your opinion on this?
I'm just like, don't lie
They
to the
didn't.
viewers.
They didn't miss that.
Okay, please explain. Since he knows so much.
Hang on. When did
I don't
they
think
miss?
Every single Armor Core game before this one, and this one.
He's talking out his ass.
Yeah, this is that. No, that's BS because literally it was like critics like, I don't know how to play this game. 6 out of 10. But like every person who played that game loved that game. It's just the people who were reviewing it didn't understand.
Really quick side note, back to Sea of Stars on the link.
Oh, here we go.
I looked some stuff up. I really couldn't find much, but I did see that this is the world is 4 times the size as the Messenger, and the Messenger took about 12 hours. According to how long it is. So I don't know.
60-hour JRPG.
I doubt it's that long. Just saying the world's 4 times the size.
30 to 40 hours seems
that's what I mean. So maybe
you can
like
have
30,
a big world to go through it pretty quickly. So
yeah, that's what I mean. So,
yeah,
I think 30 hours because that's like the classic Final Fantasy kind of length, which makes sense.
Like,
I feel like this game's been in development for like 5+ years. It's gonna be like
I see this being 25 to 30 hours.
I mean, also, I bet they're fleshing out side content. So if you really want to dive into stuff, you'll have plenty of content.
I'll say this. What's it called? They were very much talking about how they were inspired by Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is like 18 hours long or something. Like it is a short game in comparison to a lot of JRPGs. So I feel like that's my assumption of why it's going to be like, what, 30, 40 hours.
Yeah, I can definitely blow this out before Starfield.
I hope it's on the
Gonna blow
short
what
side, because
out?
right now I'm still working on Octopath Traveler 2, and that thing is a monster of content.
That
You'll
is
be
a
there
long
next
game.
year.
Wolf will get back to it soon, just like I
Yeah,
will.
that's yeah. I hope so. Moving
Just
on.
join us in Trails.
No, I'm okay. Moving on. This comes from VGC. CD Projekt Red plans to lay off around 100 staff from roughly 9% of its team, posted by Chris Scullion. In an organizational update message posted on the studio's official website, CD Projekt CEO Adam Kaczynski states that the company wants to have teams that are more agile and more effective, and after analyzing the teams in the company, the decision has been made that some are no longer needed. We've carefully assessed all the teams in the company in terms of their expected contribution to the delivery of our strategy, Kaczynski writes. There's no way to say this, but today we are overstaffed. So obviously I've said a lot of things about CD Projekt in the past, but this is pretty much just a overall sad. Like, I hope the people that lost their jobs are going to come back, get new jobs. I hope they're all okay. Just like a little bit of like a hopeful thinking that everything goes out well for them.
Yeah, I mean, when your company's as big as CD Projekt Red, you're gonna get this, and it's gonna suck every time. But like, this is not like I expected this at some point, honestly. So
It seemed like they were growing too fast and throwing so many new projects into works too fast.
well,
there were a lot of projects in works.
Luke Stevens posted something really good on Twitter talking about like a lot of businesses do this where they hire a bunch of people when you can get them cheap, which was a few years ago, like during COVID and all this. Like you get them cheap, and then once inflation, everything comes back up, you can't afford them anymore. So like this is always going to happen. This is why Microsoft always lays off 200 people every 6 months. Like this is how the industry works. There's no way around it. As sad as it is.
Yeah, tech in general hired very heavily during COVID because like a lot of those jobs were remote.
Yeah.
And so like now that COVID's like completely over, inflation's catching up again, they just fired them again.
Like I don't think this will have any like impact on any of their projects.
I don't think it impacts the game.
It's not gonna have an impact, but it wasn't gonna happen to begin with. Side tangent. This was way back. This was towards the beginning of the year, I believe. They came out and they announced like the new Witcher and all that. They were saying that like they're gonna release 3 Witcher games within like 6 months. 6 years. Yeah, that's never happening.
That's not happening.
It sure is fucking. Don't get your expectations.
If they want their
It's never happening.
Released well.
I mean, it depends. Because like if they're talking about 6 years from the first game, so say the first game's just throwing out timelines.
And you can release 2 other games.
Say the first game's 2030. Second game takes 3 years, 2033. Like you know what I mean? Like and then the last game's at the end of that 6-year cycle. Like I'm not saying it will happen.
Open world games.
But it's more doable than what the headline shows it. You know what I mean? It makes it sound like they're working and going to release games over 6 years, like all at once type thing.
I can see it happening, but all I'll say is don't force any arbitrary deadlines. Don't pull this Xbox 1 year thing that they did with Redfall. They don't try to go like, oh, we need to release it so we hit the 6. No one cares.
Simply
just fucking release it when it's done.
That's don't rush a game ever again. Ever since Cyberpunk. It's just not happening.
We see ever since Cyberpunk, but it keeps happening, Dark. You think
this is the same company that did Cyberpunk. They know better than anybody what happened, okay? Just let your games cook.
I'm just saying, if Phantom Liberty has a buggy launch, I'm gonna have Fusion take a break. I'm gonna have Fusion take a break from the podcast because I don't want to make him sad, and then I'm just gonna spend the entire podcast shitting on the company. That's all I'll say.
Well, luckily, it's probably gonna review better than Starfield, so.
Okay, listen.
Wow.
You want to get into this debate?
You really want this heat?
He disappears for a couple weeks, comes back. Clearly, like his mind's altered. It's like
bro is ready.
Starfield is like gonna be my game of the year. I'm just trolling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Look at him backpedaling now. Yeah.
He's not playing it day one.
I think they both. I'm not playing at 30 FPS. We're not getting in that conversation right now.
One of those people now, aren't we?
But like, I think
it's always been one of those people.
They're both gonna score super high. But there's the world where Phantom Liberty could score higher.
If Phantom Liberty scores higher, I will.
Kick him off the podcast.
I'm not even gonna be angry. I'm just gonna cry.
Fusion was out because he was sick last week. Clearly, he's still sick and just mentally now this time. Okay.
He's mentally sick.
It's
I
all love
love it.
Fusion,
I
I
love the
swear.
heat. I love Fusion, bro. He's hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
Moving on. This all comes from PlayStation's Twitter. PS5 surpassed 40 million units. Thanks to you, PS5 has surpassed 40 million units sold since its launch in November 2020. Thank you. Just a quick showcase. It's like PS5 sells pretty well, all things considered. Even if there's not many exclusives, seems like it doesn't matter. The console's going to sell as well as it does.
Yeah, I think with Spider-Man by the end of the year, this is definitely like over 50 million.
Oh, really? Wait,
Yeah,
like by
Those are high
Q4?
numbers for
I'm
Spider-Man
I
2
think
alone.
I actually think I agree. I think Spider-Man they're gonna sell a lot.
I'm saying
You think
I'm saying
Spider-Man's
the
gonna sell
first.
10 million copies?
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not saying
10
just
million
because of
units?
Spider-Man, but you're talking about like the new Call of Duty, a bunch of other stuff. Like once,
Yeah.
like this fall has a lot of video games. I think whenever they announce that first quarter in January, February, where they're like, this is what the PlayStation has sold again, it will be north of 50 million.
Good too.
Is this year's Call of Duty only next? Well, not like PS5 and Series X.
No,
No?
I
That's the
think so.
assumption.
I don't.
You
I
don't
think
think so?
no. I think. Tom
Is this
Henderson
fake?
wrote about it being cross-gen still.
Yeah, if this current Call of Duty is cross-gen, so is the next one?
And so I mean,
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
we're supposed to get the reveal in season 5, which
Modern
it should
Warfare 3, right?
Yes, it should be within
Yeah.
like 2 weeks with
it was
Warzone.
supposed to be an expansion, but Activision's like, just make it a full game.
Just make it a full game. They just want money. Okay, that's all it is.
Man,
They're gonna suck
playing
the
those
fucking
old CODs,
cosmetics again.
playing those old CODs really just made me sad when thinking about the new games. But yeah, I guess PS5. Good job, Sony. I'm proud of you. I will say also, it is selling faster than the PS4 in the US. That's currently what I'm hearing. So that's an interesting figure to think about. Moving on. We got a big game announcement. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 announced for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Comes from Sal Romano over from Good Matsu. It says due out this fall. From what I heard, that got the release date of October 24th. Same week as Spider-Man 2, same week as Mario Wonder. So God bless.
We gaming.
We gaming.
Does this
Totally
game
new
look worse
fighting.
than the original?
What? What are you
What?
talking about?
It's a
It looks
visual upgrade.
better. It's literally an overall visual upgrade. I actually think you're just blind now. Mortal Kombat.
Nah, I
not
don't
this.
know. It looks worse compared to the first one.
It
to me.
looks
From
in
the images
every
I've
way
seen.
better.
To be fair, from the images I've seen, I didn't look too deeply
Go
into
watch
it.
the
But
trailer. Go watch the trailer.
From
And
the
then tell me
images
how
I've seen,
you
it looks
feel,
worse
okay?
than the original.
It literally looks better. You are actually just gaslighting yourself. I think you're forgetting just how bad the original looked. That's the more interesting thing.
This is Mortal Kombat all over again with him.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, like, it looks fucking goofy. That's a different topic, though.
It looks the
Anyway,
exact.
sidetracked fucking Fusion.
Who cares about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawls, honestly?
Whoa,
I do.
wait, hang on. Yeah,
I'm
Oh,
kidding.
we're
It's gonna
covering
be
this
sick.
news,
It's
bro.
gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick.
yeah. Well, like it throws in the news. It's like,
Bro,
I
it's
don't care
sabotaging
about
us.
this. Move on.
The first game was sick. I like the first game.
You like the
So why you
first?
shit talk on the second?
Yeah, hang on.
There's just too many games coming out around that point.
Yeah, to be fair, it's like coming out the same week as
I was
Spider-Man
gonna
and
say,
Mario.
Fusion is losing his mind today.
it was just a bit, bro. It was just a bit.
Hey, you know what, Fusion? I love your bits. Let's calm down, all right? Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is gonna sell better than Spider-Man 2. All right, let's just wait and see. That's all I'll say.
The power of multi-platform.
I will say the new characters, they actually added Jimmy Neutron, which is just hilarious because they had his dad in the first game, but they didn't have Jimmy Neutron himself.
Dude.
And
What
also
a-
they're
Wait
adding,
a second.
they're adding
Yeah,
Squid
that's like
as well.
the fact they like this game clearly has a budget now is very apparent.
Yep.
And so they were probably able to work around the Jimmy Neutron thing. If they now Timmy Turner is a whole other problem because he has so many legal problems with his rights. So who knows if Nickelodeon's actually willing to swing their money around to actually get Timmy Turner in. But there's also some leaked characters that haven't been revealed yet. So it'd be interesting to see how this roster shapes up. The big one, the rest of the Turtles are going to be coming. They got Raphael and Donatello.
Oh, thank God.
And the other big one, who looks to be like the big bad of the game, Vlad from Danny Phantom. So he's looking to be the big bad because they actually have a story mode now. That's the other big selling point of this game is there's actually a campaign now.
Yeah, it's like a roguelike, right? Or did I hear that wrong?
I don't know about that. I don't know how you can make much of a campaign out of a 4-player party beat 'em up game.
No, didn't
But-
you play World of Light?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just running around a map going to fight. So it's like probably
There
gonna be
you
as
go.
much as
Hey,
that.
Hey, hot take. I loved World of Light. It was like
It was
bad,
a
but
Oh,
I
it was
like
a fun
Smash so
time.
much.
But yeah, we're gonna get some more information at Evo next week, and we're gonna get like a gameplay breakdown because even in the video you can see there's been some tweaks to the combat. And like how it
Squidward has
plays.
the janky hitbox.
Mhm.
Evo's next week.
Yeah, Evo's next. And somehow it crept on up on us, and now
What?
Evo is next week. So we're gonna get a lot of fighting game news next week.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a fun podcast. We gotta really figure out. We gotta get our fighting game squad together.
Well, actually, it might not be next week's podcast because we record on Fridays, and that's like the first day of
Next
Evo.
week.
So it's like next week we're probably
the
gonna
week
have
of-
a wrap up of all
yeah.
the Evo news.
Okay, that sounds good.
We may even get announcements going on during the podcast, to be honest.
No, because they
Live-
No,
we
yeah.
record late.
Yeah, that's not final stuff. That's not, yeah.
Wait. No, I think Bench is right because Evo does like it happens pretty fucking late.
It happens late,
we'll
but
see what
that's on
happens.
like
Yeah,
the
it happens
final
late.
6 or final 8, though. So
Yeah, that's gonna be like Saturday, Sunday. They're gonna be late stuff. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
Looks like
moving on.
fun, but I wish it wasn't released around a bunch of other things.
Yeah, exactly. If it was like November, I could maybe squeeze it in. Nah, I wouldn't. I wasn't gonna get this game. But hey, you know what?
I look forward to watching other people play. There's a couple of
Yeah,
YouTubers
same.
that I watch that played the first game and they were entertaining. They're probably gonna play this one, so it'll be a good time on YouTube.
Same. Moving on. Gaming Bolt has this one. Shubhankar Parijat wrote this. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Capcom intends to release an unannounced game by March 31st, 2024 that will sell millions. With RE4, Street Fighter 6, and Exoprimal, Capcom already has 3 major AAA releases in 2023 that have done incredibly well for the company, but it seems there is another big title lined up for the release in the coming months. As reported by Bloomberg's Takashi Mochizuki on Twitter during its recent quarterly earnings call, Capcom confirmed that it intends to release an unannounced game by the end of the current fiscal year, which ends on March 31st, 2024, that will sell millions. So there's a lot of like speculation and theories about this. Dark, you had some thoughts. What do you feel?
So I don't remember the exact day. It was a couple years back, but Capcom got hit with a massive. I mean, I don't know how the fuck it happened, but all of their future projects got leaked, and for the most part, every single one of them came out except for one which stood out, which was pretty much this codename Hunk. Now, if you don't know anything about Resident Evil, there's a fan favorite character named Hunk, so the assumption that this would be a Hunk standalone, which would honestly is fucking amazing. The idea of it. This would, in turn, sell a lot, depending on how the game is, of course. If they do it properly. I'm like 80% sure that this is probably what it is, just given the fact that everything else on that leak was correct. And this is like one of the only things that wasn't, like that hasn't been announced or shown yet.
Yeah, so it's like a game that stars Hunk from Resident Evil?
Yeah, as a main protagonist. That's the
Man,
assumption.
So just
Okay,
like
Hunk is like the lamest character. I don't know why they keep bringing him
What are
back.
you on
I don't
about?
know. He is so
What are you
lame.
on-
bro,
He's
who
just
is
an
Hunk?
older guy, and they treat him like he's Leon
Okay.
Kennedy. I'm like, who's this
So
fucking dork?
I've played
Hunk is
like
from-
5 Resident Evils. I don't even know this guy.
He's from Resident Evil 2. He's going to slight Resident Evil 2 spoilers. The team that went to go kill Birkin, Hunk was the leader of. So Hunk's backstory is kind of like every time he gets sent into a mission, everyone dies but him. They call him the Grim Reaper because nobody else survives these missions but him. He's kind of like that guy in Resident Evil, but he works for the military.
Do you
Tell
think
me
it's like
his-
a?
Have
Do you think
actually
there's like
met
a
him in
Halo
game?
Reach?
Yeah, something
Oh,
similar to
Halo
that. Yeah, everyone else dies besides Hunk. Like he's the only lone survivor, and he's gained this reputation, and like he has these skills. He's always inside mercenaries. He's super badass. That's every. I don't know how
want you
else
to
to
tell
describe
me-
this. That he's a fan favorite
I
character.
want you to tell me his personality. Just tell me what his personality is.
Military.
He doesn't say much. Like he's very few words. Yeah,
His
he's
personality is
but-
that he doesn't talk.
But let me finish. You fuck cut me off.
Okay,
He doesn't
okay.
say much, very few words, straight to the point. But if you like, he cares enough about people that he tries to distance himself from them, because he knows that if you're with this dude, you're probably gonna fucking die. It hasn't
Yeah.
failed since. It's fucking hilarious. He's in a lot of the
just sounds
spin-off
like a
games as
shitty-
well.
He just sounds like a shitty version of Master Chief.
I'm envisioning this game right now, and
He's
I'm just like,
he's
wow,
the
this is bad.
closest that he gets
He's
to
like the
Master Chief in
least-
Resident Evil.
No, don't put his name next to Master
You
Chief.
the one who brought up his name, so
Yeah,
this is your
you
fault.
did kind of bring up his name, which shows
Yeah, that's
how
fair.
bad of a character Master Chief actually is.
What? Wait! Hang on.
Okay,
No,
Fusion.
Master. Actually, we don't have time to talk about Master Chief.
Yeah, we're gonna talk
Anyways,
about Master Chief
but,
I-
like,
on what we've been
I
playing.
could be wrong. This might not be this game. Just given off of what we know, this seems like the most likely situation in my mind, at least. And yeah, that's what I think.
So you don't think there's any chance it's Monster Hunter?
It could be.
Hey,
But
That's what I.
given
That's what I
everything
want.
else
I
has
want
been-
World 2. I don't want whatever this Hunk game is. I want Monster Hunter World 2.
I'm just gonna say this about Hunk. Last thing on Hunk. I played Resident Evil 2 Remake, loved that game, but then I had to. I was doing the side modes, and there was a Hunk mode, and I was so pissed. I'm like, who the fuck is this dork? I didn't even finish it. So I'm like, I can't play as this fucking loser. I want to play as my boy Leon.
Hunk-
So he's
Hunk is
such a
always
lame
supposed to be like-
character.
And would that guy would that sell millions? Because they're like pretty certain like whatever this
So
game
that's
is.
what
it's
I was
gonna
saying.
move
It
units.
depends on
Yeah.
what the gameplay loop is. So if it's like similar to like a standard Resident Evil, like 4 or 5, I can see it selling really well if Hunk's just RE story. But yeah.
Okay, I guess it's sad that I've played those games. I just have no idea who this Hunk is, or maybe like
Yeah,
I
same.
He was like in the side modes.
I just
He's
say,
a lot
man,
of the
I
side
didn't
modes
really
and
touch the
he's-
side modes on
And a lot of the spin-off games.
So,
Yeah.
man,
Never
Like if you
heard of
really
him.
go deep into like Resident Evil, you learn about him.
Yeah, I guess more if I like or like you probably read about him in like the notes and stuff. I assume too, like you find around, and he's probably just a character I
some of
just
them.
forget about.
Fusion, you know what's bad is like I hear Project Hunk, and all I think of is Herc from Far Cry.
Me too. So, like they
At least
need to make
Herc-
that game.
At least Herc has like a story arc from the various few Far Cry games that he comes from.
Yeah, like I mean,
dog piles for this one.
Resident Evil would be like it could definitely like any type of Resident Evil game probably would sell, but the way they're wording it makes it just sound like it's something bigger, which gives me Monster Hunter vibes. But I don't know.
But it just doesn't sound like the kind of game that they're promoted. Like it's going to be a game that sells millions. That's why
And
I'm
what
hoping it's
other
Dino
Hey,
Crisis.
You guys know Capcom better than me. What other franchises would they?
There
Dino
is another
Crisis.
game
Ace
that's
Ace
been heavily
Attorney
requested,
wouldn't. Dino Crisis. I don't think
but I
Dino
haven't
Crisis
heard
would
any
sell
leaks on it.
millions.
Because Resident Evil typically gets leaked pretty well. But if they sell Code Veronica, which people have been asking for forever, like a Code Veronica remake, that'll also sell millions.
And they said this was a reveal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because it can't be that one
Code
game they
Veronica in
showed off,
theory
right?
could be it.
What about Pragmata?
Dude,
Yeah, okay.
don't say that. I wish, but like maybe it could be a new IP though, like something brand new they just throw out
Nah.
at us. But like then
Okay,
also
so
like
the
do
problem
you
is that they're
expect
certain
a
that it's
brand
gonna
new
sell.
IP to be millions? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you,
I think
like,
also
show
this
them-
is an unannounced game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's also Dragon's Dogma 2, but I don't think
Very
that's what.
I don't think
Because that's already been announced and
That's
shown
pretty-
up. Like they got a
I
full
was gonna say
trailer.
that, so that it's 100% like unannounced.
Yeah.
Okay,
Something
Devil May
that-
Cry,
yeah,
Devil May
unannounced.
Cry 6. There we go.
Okay.
I have no idea. I don't know the Capcom franchises that well.
I know I'm a good amount, and thinking about it, it's like pretty handily. It's
Do they
either
have like a?
Resident Evil or Monster Hunter.
I'm gonna say like, do they have like a strategy game that we're not thinking about or something?
A strategy
No.
game that like
Like an RTS.
millions
Resident
of
Evil
people that
Tactics.
no one knows.
Your Resident Evil tag. Wait a minute. Wait, hold up now.
I'd be down.
I kind of like how that sounds.
Yeah,
I
same.
don't know.
It just needs to just work.
Last news story we got here: Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes delayed to Q2 of 2024. This comes from Saruman over at Gamatsu. Publisher 505 Games and developer Rabbit and Bear Studios have delayed strategy RPG Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes from its previously planned 2023 release window to Q2 2024. It will be available for PS5 Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via Steam, Epic Game Store, and GOG when it launches, as well as Xbox Game Pass. Moon, I know you're really excited for this game. Did you have any thoughts on this delay?
It was pretty inevitable. I mean, granted, there is still 5 more months left of the year, but this game doesn't feel like a holiday game. So the fact it didn't come out in spring or summer of this year, I was just waiting around like when's the delay announcement, and it's finally here. So yeah, like that's pretty much it. It was inevitable, and I hope it's for the good of getting the game all good and ready to go, instead of just like, oh, we don't want to go up against Starfield, Mario, Spider-Man, all these other million top-notch games that are coming out.
Yeah,
and hopefully it's just there for polish instead of just running away scared, because they're running to 2024 where it's already pretty crowded already.
Yeah,
So,
this game has kind of been off and on my radar, and I'll definitely check it out when it comes out. But its like whole appeal is it's just like a massive JRPG with like 100 characters and a big long story, right?
Spiritual successor to Suikoden.
Okay.
Who's making
Yeah.
this game?
it's the Suikoden devs.
Whatever happened to the Suikoden like remaster thing?
I don't
It's
know
still
if it's
coming.
It's probably this. I
that
bet
looks
it's like
good.
early next year. I'm really excited for it. I've always wanted to play Suikoden. Love my
But
old
yeah,
army
it's
for
like I just looked at my list, and there's still 37 games still on that technically have a 2023 release date that don't have an official date, and most of these feel like probably 90% of them are going to get delayed to 2024 because either they're not ready, or they're not going to want to compete with the massive things that are coming out, or they're just small enough and they're going to slip right in like December at the last minute.
Silk Song,
So,
December, good eye.
Oh my
okay.
god,
Good eye.
Fusion, please.
Keep dreaming.
No,
Fusion's
October
turning smash on your
31st, bro.
illness.
October 31st, I'm hanging on to that one.
I mean, I could dream Fusion.
Silk Song's gonna drop and Fusion's not even gonna be buying it.
Like,
Yeah,
what?
well, he's not playing it.
I'm going to drop everything when it drops.
All right,
We'll see
moving
about
on.
that.
That's everything news-wise, but we have a big what we've been playing segment. We got a lot to talk about in terms of this. I'll go first because certain people here really want to talk about Trails, and I'm trying to delay the inevitable. I'm playing a little bit more of COD's Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 multiplayer. Just real quick, those games still hold up amazingly. Still a ton of fun. And Favela is still one of the best Modern Warfare 2 maps that no one ever talks about, despite it being one of the best. That map fucking rocks. I love that map. Just wanted to say that real quick. But the main game I've been playing this week has been Pikmin 4. I'm obsessed with it. It is pretty much the perfect Pikmin game. It has done everything it needed to as a sequel. It improves everything from Pikmin 3, from Pikmin 2, Pikmin 1, all that. Takes all the best elements from those games. If I had any criticisms, I would say the game's a little bit too easy. I haven't really had any difficulty with any of the enemies or bosses. Everything's been kind of a comfortable journey, but also like it's nice to have a nice, easy, fun game every now and then. I like my difficult games, but it's nice to get something relaxing that I could chill out to, watch a podcast or something. And I mean, Pikmin 4 is just kind of surpassed every quality that I expected. This is easily the best Pikmin game. It's definitely going to be in my top 5, maybe top 10. Who knows? We'll see by the end of the year. It's definitely a top 10. I know that much, but I'm interested to see where it lands. But yeah, that's everything I've been playing. Fench and Dark, just get it over with. Let's talk about Trails.
Dark, do you want to talk about the one you're playing, or I just talk about Cold
Yeah,
Steel?
I can go about, because mine will be a lot shorter. So I did finish Trails into Reverie. Again, the game did drop recently, so I'm not gonna get into heavy spoilers. It is, in my opinion, right now, from the games that have released officially in the West, it is my favorite Trails game in the series. It is the most emotional story that has came out, and it really drives home the themes of everything and all the characters that you've met thus far. Honestly, if you're even playing this game, you already know you're in for a good ride. So yeah, it's another amazing game from the Trails series. That's about all.
Yeah, I'm playing Cold Steel 3. It's about the 8th game in the Trail series, and I talked briefly about it last week. And I was about 7 hours in then, and now I am 31 hours in. And this game is just like does the best of everything a Trails game does, and the Trails games are already excellent. Great characters, bringing back old characters, bringing in new characters, and all still getting character development. growing over time and seeing old characters when time passes is all very satisfying. The world building is great. It's asking so many questions that I want the answers to that I don't have the answers to. The combat just gets better as the game goes on. It's just like Trails combat is so good. It's like turn-based, but also like kind of in a different way. And it's very refreshing and just a whole lot of fun. And story's definitely heating up where I'm at. And I hear that towards the end of the chapter I'm at, things heat up and don't really let up after that. And then Cold Steel 4 after that. But yeah, I am so extremely high on this game. It's got some of my favorite characters in games. Randy is the GOAT. And then just, it's been very good. Can't wait for more.
Let me ask you this, Bench. When 2024 comes around, is Trails the JRPG series I should play?
No.
What?
Sorry,
Yes.
you asked me.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to be ready to commit.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
a
Because
commitment.
That's the thing. You have to commit.
I started in January, and I won't touch Reverie until probably like after Spider-Man or whatever. So I won't catch up for almost a year. Sure, it's
I
been
do
off
want to
and
say
on.
something on this.
Fusion.
Um,
Sorry, go ahead, Dark.
Yeah, this to my knowledge, this is like the only game series as long as it is that you have to play the games in chronological order for the most part. But you have to play them like you can't really just jump in at any random game like that. But because of that, the world building and the depth of these characters are so well defined. I mean, as you would expect for a game that does this, that is really hard to beat anywhere else.
That's what makes me so excited. It's like
Isn't like
there's
the
not
character
franchises like that.
development. You have the
Fusion.
protagonist of the first game who started as 16 in the first game.
Hey,
And
hang on.
now-
Spoilers.
Wait, you might
It's not-
be getting to spoil.
Spoilers.
I'm just
yeah,
saying
spoilers.
that you see them age over time. Like the next time she shows up, she's in her
You
early
will
20s.
grow with these
Spoilers.
That's not spoilers.
Oh yeah, the protagonist from the first game.
It's
Yeah,
called
she comes back
time.
later.
Spoilers, people age.
Yeah, spoilers, people age. But I mean, like, yeah, you have the long-running series, and you're going to get callbacks. The world building is like some of the series isn't even close to being over yet with now 12 games, including the ones in Japan. You just can't get better than the Trail series. It's just like incredible with everything it does, and it knows what it's doing, and the combat is so good.
All the games I've ever played, I've never seen world building in games alone be matched like the Trail series.
I can argue that, but it's okay.
Sounds like Wolf's the one telling me that I shouldn't.
I'm just saying, Fusion, there's this really cool JRPG series called Paper Mario. Let me tell you about this one. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, one of the best RPGs of all time. It's
Can I
all
No
emulate
world
it?
building in that game, though.
The problem is there's only
world
one.
building is insane. I'm just saying.
There's only 1,000-Year Door, and that's it. That's the only one worth playing.
No, there's the original. The original Paper Mario is also. Super is good too. It all went downhill after Sticker Star, and then those bastards made Color Splash and Origami King.
Origami King is good.
Hey, Origami King was decent.
It's good if you like stupid ass Paper Mario games nowadays. It's not the same.
How are you gonna recommend Paper Mario after shitting on Paper Mario?
We're gonna take
Wolf
away.
The first two. Just play the first two games. No, the first three games.
And
Super is also-
Origami King because it's good, and the Wii one's
No,
good
you
as
don't
well.
need to. Yeah, the first three games.
Like, does this
Paper
all
Mario.
follow a storyline?
Does it follow a storyline?
Yeah.
Yes, it has a story.
No, I'm talking about
It's
like
very
does it,
No, he's
I'm talking about like
acting as-
Trails.
No,
It
Wolf is
does
just
Trails.
talking
No,
out
it
of his
doesn't.
ass.
They're individual
What?
games.
Hang on. What did you say this? Talking out of my ass. They're all.
We're talking
Mario.
about continuous storytelling over games, and here you are bringing up
That's
Paper
why
Mario.
that's why I thought you brought it up.
Mario. Look at Mario. He's aged in Paper Mario: The
This
Thousand-Year
is like
Door.
the most hater activity I've seen from Wolf in a long
Wolf
time.
is just a hater.
I'm not hating. I like
Well,
Trails. But
They
I'm
have to
just
go on
telling
sale.
Fusion that this is a really hard series thing. I played one Trails game and it was great. But then Bench is like, oh yeah, Trails 2 is like 70 hours. It's like, bro, come on, man.
And it's
Yeah, that
even
does
better.
scare me.
It's one of the best games. One of the best JRPGs.
I've got things to do, man. I can't play 70-hour JRPGs like it's nothing.
I gotta play
Yeah, you
Pikmin.
can.
Yes, no, I can't.
We're adults.
No,
Anyways,
that
guys. Anyways,
Listen.
give Trails a
Trails-
chance.
I'd
There you
rather
go.
you get into Trails than Final Fantasy. I'll give you that. How about that?
Okay, well I wasn't. Unless they
Well-
remake the Final Fantasy games, you won't catch me on any of the old ones. So
Play Trails
Yeah,
because
okay,
it's very
let's
good.
All right, moving on, Moon. Get me out of this Trails talk. Let's talk about Raincoat. You finally beat
I
that
started Trails.
game. No!
Let's go.
No. So I finished Raincoat finally. Good story overall. Gameplay is just mediocre as shit. I usually don't say this, but it's almost just probably better watching this game like on YouTube or a streamer or something. Because you don't have to deal with. Granted, if you watch like a regular Let's Play, you'll watch them mess up. But if you cut out you messing up, it's a lot shorter. But if you watch like a cutscene movie, you'll get all the good stuff. Yeah, it's just okay. Here's one singular thing I'll talk about that shows why this game doesn't work from a gameplay perspective. Most of the time, going through the mystery dungeon is you walking down a hall just listening to the characters talk, and literally it's a never-ending hallway that doesn't end until all the dialogue is spoken. That is literally the whole point of that
it's a
hallway.
walking sim.
It's a walking sim that literally, and then eventually you'll get meet a boss and you'll do a little boss fight there. So literally, you're just continually walking while characters talk, and then you do a little bit of a puzzle. That's all this mystery dungeon. Repeat that for 5 times.
So
Now,
that's what's weird is that you talk so much about how mediocre the gameplay is, but like Danganronpa's gameplay wasn't that bad. Like, is it really that demonstrably worse than Danganronpa's?
I think it is because at least with Danganronpa, it was just point and click. Like you click on characters. Now it was definitely frustrating in Danganronpa when you didn't know what to do. Like you had to do a specific order of stuff. Now it definitely isn't that bad in Raincoat because thank goodness there's like the map and the indicator of where you need to go for everything. So you were able to find your way around pretty easily. But the walking between sections of the city, there is no point. Like if you're just going from one location to the other, just going from cutscene to cutscene. That was another thing is a cutscene will happen and then the character's like, oh, I need to talk to this person. Literally, the person is always standing right next to you. You spin 90 degrees and you hit the A button and it goes right to the next cutscene. There was no need to load into the game for your character to spin 90 degrees and hit the A button to talk to this other character to get to the next cutscene.
Bro.
Yeah,
it genuinely sounds like you hate this game.
I hate the gameplay. The story and characters were a lot of fun. I didn't see a lot of the twists coming. For every twist that I did see coming, there were like 2 or 3 more that I didn't. So the story overall is really cool. The implications, like goddamn, like what's the word? Violation against humanity is what this really boiled down to at the very end. Like the people that got away with this shit have done some terrible shit. And it is curious if there is going to be a sequel. I kind of hope there is, just because now the world has opened up. The world has opened up in a way that could be very interesting, like to explore how does the world recover from this. I won't get into spoilers, obviously, but a world-changing event did happen.
Interesting.
Granted, not world-changing like a giant meteor's coming down or whatever to destroy everything. No, but it was a society-changing thing that happened in this town, and now the word will spread across the world, and stuff is going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see the world after the events of this game. So I do hope we see more. But goddamn, just make a visual novel and have us just click around a map instead of having a 3D character walk around this map for no reason. But besides that,
you've been playing a couple other games.
I got back into Octopath Traveler 2. I got back to Humanity as well, because now I'm just trying to clean up games until Sea of Stars and Starfield and all those start coming out. Because I've started a lot of games this past summer and I haven't finished a lot of them. Octopath being the biggest one, because I'm 49 hours in. How long to beat it has it roughly around 60 hours for the main quest. So I still got a lot to go. I know each character has about 5 chapters, and I'm only on chapter 3 for everybody. And I am struggling. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm just not playing right, or if I'm under leveled, or if I don't have the right equipment. I'm trying to figure that out. But it's still a great game. I love the combat. Octopath has probably some of my favorite turn-based combat, right next to Persona. So that's what's keeping me interested, is the combat. Humanity is a fun puzzle game. But
quick thing on Octopath. What you said about like kind of struggling, that was kind of my issue with Octopaths. Like I love the combat just like you, but it feels so old school in its way of leveling, where it feels very slow. It feels like you do need to grind at points, and it's
There, I
genuinely
have
frustrating.
spent a good amount of time just popping on a YouTube video and just grinding for like a good hour or something, just for an
Yeah,
extra
that's
level or two.
frustrating aspect.
Because that is a complaint I do have about Octopath Traveler 2 is you only have 4 characters at a time, and there's an 8 total, and you constantly and they don't level up. The characters in your
You
party
don't
don't
level
level
up
up.
with you, which is so
Yes.
dumb.
So
I don't know why it's like
and
that.
so you have to go back to town. And that's the other thing. Like it might have been not as bad if you could just immediately switch around everybody. But no, you got to head back to town, run to the coffee shop, switch everyone's armor around, switch everyone out of party into your party, just so you can take them back out into the forest and grind. But yeah, it's annoying. But it's like I said, when you actually get into the thick of Octopath with the story and the combat against bosses, like it's a great time. And then, like I said, Humanity, it's a fun puzzle game, and if you like puzzle games that really make you think, I'd highly recommend this one's on PS Extra if you have that. Yeah, I'm just kind of working on that when I don't feel like grinding in Octopath.
I feel that. Yeah, no. Yeah, I want to get back to Octopath one of these days because I did genuinely love that game. But just like you, that
I want
grinding.
to start it. Like it's one of those games I haven't started because it's so long.
It feels like a fusion game. I honestly think
It's an undertaking. It's definitely an undertaking.
I loved triangle strategy. I know some people didn't, but like it gave me
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
like those
I
are
need
the
to play
vibes I
that.
get from it. So
I mean, I think it's definitely your type of game. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts if you ever get around to starting it. And I guess Fusion, you got a lot to talk about. You beat 2 games. Let's hear about them.
He did have 2 weeks to do it though.
okay.
Yeah, that's true.
True. And one took like 5 hours. Finally beat Jedi Survivor, which I remember last time I was talking about it, I was like very high on it, and I was like, this will probably be my game of the year so far. Wasn't the case. I think by the time I was going for the platinum and a lot of like the in-game stuff just didn't hit as well as I wanted it for me. And like the performance just felt like it kept getting worse and the bugs kept I was getting patches and on the same day still getting 6 game crashes.
Yeah,
Like
6 game crashes. You told me that one like an hour.
I was about to when I was going for a certain trophy, the fact that no one brings this up, but the fact that I have to get to the mantis every time I want to fast travel to another planet pisses me off. Like you have to go through the entire animation of like sitting down and like just let me click on your planet and fast travel to it. Like I don't need that animation.
Hearing about Fusion's slow downfall on Jedi Survivor was very entertaining to hear through messages.
On it. He was like talking to us every day, like every 10 minutes, giving us an update. It's like it crashed again. It crashed again. I can't take this. This trophy is bullshit. I was like, Fusion, stay with us, buddy. Don't worry.
Dude, it's because like the game, like I love the world and the characters. I love the cast of characters, and there's like so much emotions in this game and like just character bonds that are so good. But it's just all like it all feels just tainted with things that just shouldn't be in your game or all the bugs and glitches that took me out of the immersion almost every time. And like I was going to lose my mind when I had to fast travel to another planet for a certain trophy, and my character falls through the mantis. I walk up the mantis and I fall through. Yeah. I'm like, well now I'm stuck in the ship. Like this is awesome. Let me reload the entire game. So like I really enjoyed it, but it's not. I still think for me personally, it's behind Hi-Fi Rush and Final Fantasy 16, which I was not expecting, but it's still a good game.
I guess a question to pose to you: do you think going for the platinum overall hampered your enjoyment? If you didn't go for the platinum, it would be above Hi-Fi Rush and FF16. Like, what do you think about that?
I think it hampered it a little bit, but not enough to make that drastic difference. I think when I rolled credits, I knew it was not better than Final Fantasy 16 and Hi-Fi Rush.
Interesting.
But there was a time when I was going for that platinum where I'm like, I might throw it below Diablo. Like,
bro,
the platinum was frustrating just because like the map is still so bad to navigate. Like the hollow map, like the backtracking felt a lot nicer. The thing with this game is I genuinely think at every point of this video game, it's better than Jedi Fallen Order. Like personally, I think it's better at even if it's slightly better, I think it's just better as a product overall. It's just like they missed the mark to be like a really, really good video game.
It just feels weird because it's like it's almost like they took so many steps forward but then randomly just like didn't move in certain aspects. I don't want to say they took steps back because, like you said, it is better than Fallen Order, but it almost feels like when they should have taken like 2 steps forward, they only took like 1. And I'm just waiting to see like what does the final game in that trilogy look like. Do they fix the issues that you're talking about that I also
Yeah.
personally have with the game? Like I really hope I hope so. I hope it gets better because like I'm overall like on the lower end when it comes to the game, and I know you're a slighter higher end, but like there are people out there that say this is like the best Star Wars game, their game of the year, and I'm like I don't see it, guys. I really
Yeah,
don't.
like, and story related, like I really enjoyed the story and the writing's actually like fantastic, but it almost
yeah.
felt like a lot of stuff didn't happen. Like it's very much a second game to set up a third game. You know what I mean? Like they very much
100%.
had the idea
Yeah.
of this is going to be a trilogy. How do we put a middle ground between the start of our trilogy and the end? And that's what this feels like.
Definitely the classic 3-act structure as well.
Yeah,
This is the
Yeah,
lowest
like
low.
It's the Empire Strikes Back.
yeah. So I'll move on from Jedi Survivor. Like it's a good game. I think people should play. I think people should still wait. Like the performance is still abysmal. If you're gonna jump in now, I wouldn't personally. If I don't know if it will ever get better at this rate. Then
They should
after
have
that,
delayed
I jumped into the worst Halo game since Combat Evolved. It was
Here.
Halo 5. It is not good. It's not a
Really?
good product.
Shocker.
No, it is.
I didn't get that far.
I say it, I think every week. I hate Cortana, and they continue to give me Cortana. Like I understand, like she's like the main person in the game by the Master Chief, but like I don't care about Cortana. Halo 5 story makes no sense. Like Halo 4, they set up like a perfect like ending type thing for her, and then like Halo 5 is just everything it's just I don't know. It's just not a good video game. The game I am
Halo
excited about playing. Oh, you got something to say, Dark? Say something.
Yeah,
I have
cutting off.
things to say too.
Halo 5 takes everything, because in my opinion, Halo 4 is fantastic. If you grew up with Halo, you attach to these characters. What they did with their take, because that was 3 for 3's games, keep in mind. What they did with these characters, I love them. Halo 5 takes everything that they said. Tarnishes everything. It is horrendous.
That's it. That's
But yeah,
insane.
that's all.
It's interesting. You talk so much about how you hate Cortana Fusion. I only played
I
like
hate Cortana.
I played the original trilogy and Reach. Did she really get that much work? Because like
Oh,
I
yes.
thought she was cool. I liked her in the original trilogy.
I mean, I'm definitely in the minority, but I feel like I feel like Halo lore is not important enough for me to care that much about Cortana, and they just always throw me Cortana and Chief's like interactions, and it's like there's maybe one time in the entire franchise where they show any emotion. Like there's not like this connection there. It's always just like, oh, Master Chief has to find Cortana again. Cortana's in trouble again. This is Cortana again. Like it's always just about somehow every single story comes back to her, and I'm like, bro, I don't care about her. Like.
If you enjoyed Cortana in the original trilogy, you're probably gonna love Halo 4. It's a very, very, very Cortana-focused story.
I don't
And
love
then
her.
Halo 5
I was always
happens.
just like, she's cool. I always
Then
thought of her as
Halo
like
5
that.
happens.
She's fun. Master Chief.
Oh,
is
Fusion.
lovely.
Since you did play, I want to ask you, what did you think about Locke?
I think
And
that's
how
pretty
his,
cool.
what do you
Oh,
think
you
about
liked her?
Locke and how he interacted with Chief? That's another question.
It
Oh
was
wait, is this? I always see people complain about this. I've heard of
it was
this.
honestly it was kind of corny, in my opinion. I don't think.
It made no fucking sense.
Yeah, I
How
don't.
is this random ass Spartan who's not on the juice? There's multiple different types of Spartans, and the class of Spartan the Master Chief is, he is like genetically enhanced to the brim. Like he is built different from everybody else. Compared to Locke, who's just like a human who has like some like how in the world, slight spoilers by the way, Locke all of a sudden like go toe to toe with Chief like it was nothing.
I there's just not a lot, and the fact that I'm pretty sure like this is a very random tidbit. I think IGN gave this game a 9. Like
No, there's
That
no way.
is insane.
I
7
don't
years
believe
ago.
that.
Like I'm almost certain. Like you could fact check me, but like that's my thing with Halo. I'm not gonna. Mario's cool. This is not a slight toward Mario or Zelda. Straight up,
Whoa, wait.
but those games, it does not matter how good they are, how bad they are. They're getting a 9 at least, every single one. And Halo's that franchise where like
Yeah.
somehow every Halo has like a 9. It doesn't matter what they are. And I'm like, dude, I've been playing.
Halo 5 does not deserve a 9, bro. The multiplayer is good, I'll give you that,
Halo-
but the multiplayer does not carry enough for the disastrous campaign that
Fusion
Halo 5,
I was just
So
gonna say
they say-
Fusion is correct. IGN did give Halo 5 a 9.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
Halo 5 story is too confusing at times, but the shooting has never felt better, and the
It feels
multiplayer is
bad,
the
though.
best in
God.
Halo 2.
What?
Yeah, no. They
Wrote
forgot
that
Halo
review?
3 existed, or Reach, and whatever. Like, it's just, that's beside the point where, like, Halo's just that franchise where I think it's going to be a miss for me. We'll see how Infinite is, but, like, of all, like,
You got one more,
I've always
yeah.
heard Halo's the peak of, like, FPS games, and, like, it's a franchise, and it's maybe because I didn't grow up playing the campaigns like everyone else did, so they have this nostalgia for it, and they have this connection to Chief. Maybe me playing it over the last 7 months, a lot of the games back to back, like, hindered my ability to like them as much. But, like, there's just nothing in this universe that screams like this is the best FPS. Like, the stories,
You played the multiplayer?
yeah, like the multiplayer is fantastic.
There you
Halo
go. That's what
multiplayer
they
is
say. Best
fantastic.
FPS. They're talking
You're
about
campaigns
the multiplayer.
specifically.
Okay, well, I've
Yeah.
always heard like the campaigns are like they're just like everyone has this emotional connection to Chief, and I'm like, dude, Chief gives you nothing. This dude has like
I-
7 one-liners a game, and that's what you get. And everyone's like, that's a cool one-liner. Like, okay.
I'll disagree with Fusion because I also have been playing the Halo games like for the first time this year, and I personally think the campaigns are some of the best in the business. I think genuinely like the enemy design. I love the shooting. I love just the overall stories. Like, yeah, no, they're not like these intense, massive tales, but like they feel big in terms of their scope. Like, genuinely, the story in Halo 2 is fucking epic, and then Halo 3's ending the trilogy genuinely. It was a phenomenal ending to that trilogy. I understand a lot of your viewpoints of like saying like the universe doesn't give you a lot, and like Chief in general. I personally like Chief. Maybe I wouldn't say he's like the best video game character of all time, but like I overall really connected to just like a lot of the story, what they did with Halo 2 specifically. That's my favorite Halo, and I've always been a big fan of like the actual like shooting mechanics and just I don't know. It's hard to talk about, but like I do think I don't think it's just nostalgia. I think Halo is a lot more than just nostalgia. I think there is genuinely a lot of quality with those campaigns.
I played Halo 1 this year and had fun with that.
If you had fun with Halo 1, you'll love the rest. The rest might be the best
Okay,
games of all
Fusion.
time.
Let's calm down.
No, it's like I don't know. And like the thing about Chief, like Chief's always gonna be a video game icon, but like don't start comparing Master Chief as the character to like Kratos or like anyone who actually has character arc or actual emotions or actual like anything but like big dude in a suit.
Chief does have emotions and stuff.
I mean, yeah, he shows it, but like he shows it twice out of the entire franchise. And when he does it, it's really good and it's really well written. But like, it's like I wish Halo would show more of the universe and like what's happening on other planets. It's like every single campaign is about Chief and Cortana, other than like the Reach and ODST because those are like the one-off games. It's like why didn't you open this universe to like show me what's happening to humanity and show me what's happening over here with this group and like it's always Chief and Cortana in every single game. And it's like you can only do that for so many games. There's like 17 Halos. I don't know. I just feel like they missed the mark, but like it's an iconic franchise. So it's beside the point. Halo 5, we'll move on. Hopefully, Halo Infinite gives me a little bit of something. I heard that one's like the best campaign since 2. That's what I was hearing, but 2 was also 20 years old.
It's a very
so
solid campaign. That take is
at least I
3
think
each their own.
really good.
I think at least level design I'll like it because like
Oh yeah, level design.
you know
is
my
incredible.
level
Like
design
overworld.
faults with Halo right now. So like maybe even just like a refresh, a revamp of the systems will make me like it. But the game I have been playing and enjoying a ton is Dredge, which I assume everyone in here knows what it is, but it's like that
Yeah,
horror indie
really
fishing
wanna hear
game.
about this.
And dude, it's so good.
Is it
It's
considered horror? Okay.
yeah, it has some horror aspects, yeah. But it's like it's more like that horror where you're like you just don't know what's next or around that corner. And it's more like just tense moments, not like jump scare horror or like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like it's
No,
very
psychological.
cozy. Yeah, like psychological. It's very cozy. Like you play this game and you're just like you're on this boat and you're upgrading it. You have to like you can find like scrap and stuff and like shipwrecks to upgrade your boat and then you're like fishing. But they have a day and night system, which is really cool, but also kind of annoying because during the day you can fish and like it's all nice and like cozy, blah blah blah, like you're chilling like you would have fished. But the minute night hits, there's like this very dense fog, which makes everything 10 times harder. Like you can't see anything around you unless you upgrade your light into your boat, and then like that's you just have a bunch of random like horror stuff happen at night that you don't get going on through the day. But there's like certain quests that you can only do during night, or like certain fish only spawn at night. So like they have this cool day-night mechanic where it's like you do your things that won't take a lot of time during night, so you can get in and out quick, and then like during the day you want to like do the things that take a long time, like your long time travels and stuff. But
So,
I
is
like
it scary?
no, it's not like that. Like it's
No. Okay.
when I say horror, it's more like I feel like it's like
Horror
folk
aesthetic.
horror. Yeah, like it's like a horror aesthetic where it's like you're not. I don't think you'll ever be scared, but you're gonna be like,
Tense.
yeah, you're gonna be tense. Where it's like there might be a giant creature under your boat in the middle of the night while you're trying to finish a task, and you're like, I like that consequences matter to the point where like even if your boat slightly hits a rock, you do damage, and you have to repair the damage with the money you're getting for selling your fish. Like any one simple hit to your boat like costs you money, or you can lose things overboard. So like say you caught like a really nice fish and like something hits you or you hit a rock because like you just weren't paying attention, that fish could go overboard and you lose it forever. Like until you catch one again. Oh yeah, you start off with a really bad boat, but then like it's cool. They have an upgrade system. I really like the characters. I like there's a bunch of like towns. The map doesn't seem too big. I'm only like 6 hours in, but all the towns have like really unique characters that you meet, and they give you like side quests, and like you're learning the mystery of the fishermen before you, because you're new to this town and you have no idea. Like people will talk about the old fishermen, but you have no idea what happened to them. Like you haven't discovered that out. So like there's a mystery and like a discovery about these islands, and like people have no idea what happens at nighttime. They just explain, like they just tell you things like stay away from that section at night, and then like you stay away from that section at night, like things like that.
Interesting. You think
I
I'd
think
be into it?
Do you like? I won't even call it survival, but like there's parts where like
Oh, I hate that. If it's survival,
okay,
then I'm out.
it's not survival. But I'm trying to explain where it's like it feels very like my day-to-day task is
Simulation?
like yes, simulation kind, where like my day-to-day task is like I'll go catch a couple fish during the day to go back and sell to upgrade my boat, and then I'll do that, and while I'm doing that I'll get a task from like some city folk or some like townsfolk, and they'll give me a task to do, and I can do that. There's an overall story that's happening that I can do and probably mainline if I wanted to, but there's a bunch of like I'm doing a lot of like build kind of like base building but with your boat. So like you're picking up scrap, you're picking up parts that will upgrade your boat, and while you're doing that, you also have your main story happening in the background that you can always do.
Interesting.
So I recommend people to check it out, and it has physical. It has a physical, which is for indies usually
Oh,
doesn't happen.
nice.
So I got
That's
that, and so I think it's only like $25. Like it's
Oh yeah.
we'll
That's
see, we'll see. Hopefully by the next week's podcast, I'm done with it. But like I'm very high on Dredge right now as a game. So
exciting. Yeah, I mean that's everything that we've been playing. Moon, handle us up with the outros.
Yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed. Went on a little bit longer than we thought it would. Without too much not information, but like too much news besides the Final Fantasy 14 stuff. But hey, it was a good time, and I hope you all enjoyed. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff. And we will see you on next week for the first episode of August. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
Play
night,
Final
boys.
Fantasy 14.
good night. Play Hades
I'll play
again.
Final Fantasy 14.
No, you won't.